Hello everyone, welcome back to Ask a Scientist Gaming, where we combine mediocre gameplay with expert level science. I'm Ken Hansen, I'm an associate professor in the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry at Florida State University. I do all things light matter interaction. If photons drive the process, I'm super excited about that. But more importantly, joining me today is Professor Justin Kennemur. Justin, if you wouldn't mind introducing yourself.
Yeah, Justin Kennemur, also an associate professor at Florida State University, Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry. My area of specialties is macromolecules, which can also be called polymers, within which there's a subclass called plastics, but polymers can mean a lot of different things. So I'm mostly in the area of organic synthesis. So I make the polymers. We try to make cool new materials that have interesting functions and do a lot of cool things, and maybe, who knows, one day make it out into the real world. We'll see.
Equally important, what game are we starting with?
We are starting with a childhood classic. Bases Loaded is a game that I've played. I can't tell you how many hours I played this game. I was a big baseball nut back when I was younger. So, yeah, this was just about as simple as it gets. And I would play entire seasons of this game.
What team? What's your go-to team on this?
Kansas.
Kansas.
I don't know why I played probably because the K. Kennemur, K.
Yeah, no, we decided
that
teams for very stupid reasons back in the day.
And then I got to know all the names, right? So you're like, oh, come on, Patty.
But yeah,
get this one on.
But they didn't get right, so these aren't real names, right?
No, they are not.
They're made up players that didn't actually.
Which I think was kind of endearing back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, who are we going to go with? I think we're going to start with Rick.
All right, so we're going to start with a prediction right off the bat. So anyone that's interested in spending their imaginary internet points, if you're not following, click the follow button. You get 300 of them. We're going to bet on an outcome of this game. In particular, we want to know how many home runs is Justin going to hit during this game. Keep in mind, he hasn't played it for how long?
Maybe 30 years? No, that's too long.
It might be 30
It might be 30 years.
It might be 30 years.
Me. I'm not batting yet, so I can start pitching.
Yep. Pitching's fun. So I'm going to pop up the prediction right now. The question is, how many home runs air creating paper?
Give him the heater.
Wow, it wouldn't let the prediction go with the number symbol. All right, so the question is, how many home runs is Justin going to hit? More than 1.5 or less than 1.5? Throw your bets in there. He hasn't played in 30 years, but he used to be good at this game. And so he's going to hit 2 home runs or less than 2 home runs. Put your prediction in right now. Click the prediction button, bet your funds. So on Twitch, they have believers versus non-believers.
Right.
Do you want to know what the betting is?
So
do you not want that pressure on you?
I'll say one reason I like this question is because now everyone's pretty much locked into watching this whole game.
You're all invested in Justin's gameplay.
Yeah. Or unless I hit 2 home runs really early on, and then whoever doubted me. So what do you think the prediction is? Or do you know?
I'll wait a minute for the numbers to come in, but Syfy, thank you for the follow. It was during the start screen, but thank you for following us. Spend your 300 imaginary internet points to bet on whether Justin's good at this game or not. We don't know. We're going to find out over the course of the next 8 innings of the game. So 55 seconds, pause it.
Oh,
we're not going to bias it.
We're going to time out.
We're not going to bias it. Your fake internet points are very important. So place your bets now. Is Justin going to hit more than 1.5 or less than 1.5? Over or under on Justin's home run count for bases loaded. Thank you, Syfy, for spending those internet points. And you can buy valuable things like requesting us to take a drink. You can also get some of the emotes, Rage or Ethanol. That's Aaron Vanucci, who rage quit back in 2007. Right. All right, 20 seconds to place your bets now. A guy doing guy things has requested 2 take a drinks. Guy doing guy things.
That's guy doing guy things, knowing the alcohol content of Corona.
Cheers.
Thank you, guy doing guy things.
We got to do another cheers. Thank you for joining us on a Wednesday night for Ask a Scientist Gaming with Polymer chemist Justin Kennemur playing Bases Loaded and us drinking. This is going against your speed run time right now.
That's all right. Maybe I'll make up for it. We'll see. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, go ahead, Justin. It is all yours. Do you want to know what the odds are right now?
Yeah, I do.
So 6 people said greater than 1.5, 4 people said less than.
Okay, so we got an even split.
Yep. We got,
I don't know what to do right now. I call it
Press start.
timeout, and then it's not doing.
maybe hit A or B. There we go.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I don't want to pitch it. Oh no!
Should we restart?
No,
Okay.
no. We'll
You're going to pitch hit.
do. I have to do this?
I think you do.
Okay, we'll put in fix it. seems like seems like a good name.
All right. We have the prediction in the bank. Let's open up for questions. Justin is ready. Feel free to distract him if you're a skeptic. You don't want him to hit home runs. Ask him hard questions. Throw your questions in the chat now.
Fix it. That's great. What a great
An average
name.
chemist wants to know, how is your daughter doing?
Oh, my daughter is doing fantastic. She is 6 months now, and she's starting to do human things like grab daddy's beard and yank really, really hard.
She's no longer a potato.
She is no longer a little potato. That's correct. Yes. But she's doing fantastic. It's just wonderful. So,
She's
thank you for asking.
almost sleeping through the night.
She is. And that, as everyone predicted, is a very large step. Getting regular sleep again is a important part of life. So.
Yeah, it turns out health and well-being matters on sleep.
Did I just whiff that?
You did. Man. Believers, you may be at rest.
Thank you for asking. Who asked that?
An average chemist.
An average chemist. Thank you for asking. An average chemist.
Presumably former student, someone you know.
Yeah, maybe one of my Orgo students, because they were all trying to predict the name in my. They wanted to go with Esther. I went with Vivian.
So Julnium under the ethanol is a bottle of beer. It's just in a generic bottle of beer. They had you for Orgo 1 when COVID hit. That's who an average chemist is.
All right.
All right, a few science questions. Calm Down Bronco wants to know, what is BPD?
BPD.
Yes.
Did we talk about a BPD?
No.
Or is that BPA?
BPA, is that what you're talking about?
The compound that was in plastics that a lot of people were kind of worried about.
I'm gonna assume. Let's go with BPA. Yep, Bronco said
yeah.
yes.
So bisphenol A, BPA, was used in polycarbonates. It was a polycarbonate based additive. In fact, it was actually part of the composition of the polymerization scheme. Oh no, they just cranked one out. We should have done over on the
other team. You could have thrown.
Yeah, so it's like one of those compounds where if you make a polymer and not all the molecules turn into a macromolecule, a hard plastic, then you might have some residuals of this molecule left over in the plastic. And so if you were to, expose that plastic to a lot of heat or a lot of, mechanical wear and tear maybe, you might leach out some of that into whatever it's being used to contain. And so... I think this was just a chemical that was kind of part of the ingredients back in the day before they knew much about the science of it. And then they started learning about endocrine disruption and things of that nature. And so I think, I'm not exactly sure on this, but I'm pretty sure that once they started finding out about the negative effects of BPA, that the chemists and the formulas for making a lot of those plastics immediately started to turn around.
And so BPA is bad for you. It's just a question of concentration.
I would say yes. I don't do much medicinal or biochemistry. I kind of trust some of the places that I read science on, and they pretty clearly, I think, definitively define BPA as being potentially an endocrine disruptor, and that can be problematic, right? Because it doesn't take a lot of an endocrine disruptor to disrupt endocrines. So, yeah.
Didn't you say a factoid about that? Like it takes one drop of like the concentrate. I don't know if I'm remembering that. It was Ask a Scientist in person.
So, yeah, what was that?
It was
I had read something about that. Yeah, it takes a very small amount of endocrine disruptor to actually have that effect. So that is another kind of, I think, spotlight on BPA was because some of these chemicals that can leach out of plastics are very, very minimal. And so if you combine a very minimal amount of toxin with a toxin that actually only requires a minimum amount to have an effect, then you have, you know, a problem like that, right? Oh, come on. Yeah, so no, that's a great question. I actually had thought about whether or not people would talk about BPA or anything like that for this. And, you know, I think it's important to say that a lot of plastics have no BPA in them. And so there's sort of like a, you know, a problematic type of mentality that when a plastic is deemed to have a problem, that all plastics adopt that moniker of a problem. And it's not necessarily the case. There are certainly some things that most plastics have a problem with, like, you know, biodegradability. But for BPA, that was more of a specific problem for polycarbonates and maybe some epoxy resins and some other things. But for something like polypropylene or polyethylene, you're not going to find any BPA in those because it's just not used.
So where would we find polycarbonates? What kind of?
So these are probably polycarbonates, but I doubt that they have BPA in them anymore. A lot of times the polycarbonate is used for very hard, clear materials. But polycarbonate is actually quite a funny word because in the realm of chemistry, the polycarbonate is one specific type of chemistry in the molecular chain, right? So you could dangle a whole bunch of different things in between those chemistries and have, you know, easily 100 different plastics that you would call a polycarbonate, right? So specifically, it was the ones that used bisphenol A as a monomeric unit within the polycarbonate to make the polycarbonate. So you could change that monomeric unit to something that maybe doesn't have as detrimental of a effect and potentially still get good properties out of that plastic. So
makes sense.
Yeah.
So BPA bad, but it's not used much, and don't judge all polymers equally. All right.
I mean,
speaking of which, Triboluminescence wants to know, what is your favorite polymer?
oh man,
And why?
and why? That's a
Hardest question of the night.
I'll say this: the first polymer that I ever made was nylon. Nylon 6,6. This was in a polymer chemistry lab at Radford University, which is in Virginia. It's really close to Virginia Tech, if nobody knows where Radford is. That's when I kind of fell in love with polymers, was taking that polymer chemistry laboratory. And, you know, we do there's this really simple experiment that you can do called a nylon rope trick. You take two individual components, you pour them together, they don't mix, and right at the interface where they, you know, meet is where the polymer is made. And so you just kind of take a paper clip and you can just pull the polymer out continuously. And I just thought that was so cool. So I say, for the sake of it being one of the first polymers I ever made, I'll say nylon 6,6 or nylon.
Throw it. Oh,
See,
distracted.
I am. Yeah.
That was a good question. Thank you for Triboluminescence. All right. Did either of you do a master's between your bachelor's and doctorate?
I did not. I mean, technically, we kind of earn one in between.
You can. I think there's.
Yeah.
It's a matter of paperwork on the way to your PhD most
Right.
of the time. But usually, like PhDs in chemistry, or graduate school in chemistry is mostly PhD based. Like you get accepted to a PhD program, and if you fail out or bail on PhD, that's typically when you get a master's. So yeah, usually it's going straight to PhD. If you're doing engineering, it's different. Typically, they'll just go to master's degree, and that's all they need.
Ooh.
No pressure. I mean, you do have 9 innings to learn how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
No pressure.
Don't you do it? Nice.
How did nylon get such a cool name compared to other polymers?
That's a great question.
I don't know where that name comes from.
I feel like at one point I knew why the term nylon was made.
I'm going to search right now if I can find it. But you're right. Most of the polymers are poly, blah, 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 and it's a monomer name of some kind.
Yeah, that's right. But a lot of industry polymers, and nylon was very much industry-based. I think it was Dow or DuPont that made it first. And they're both the same company now, so they can't get mad at me confusing. But yeah, I can't remember how it was called nylon. Yeah.
DuPont itself stated that originally the name was intended to be no run, as in the compound change substance didn't unravel. So that was their justification. Other people say it's combining New York with London.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we don't know the answer to that question.
New York and London.
Oh, Reese's Pieces has requested a factoid.
All right.
Drop some factoid knowledge.
Okay. I wrote some of these down because they're kind of number heavy, but so if you didn't know this, the word polymer itself means many parts. And so that gives you a little bit of an idea of how we make polymers. They are, in fact, us taking one small molecule and making it into a macromolecule with many little units of that same molecule. So, the word polymer in origin means many parts, and the word plastic means pliable or moldable. And so you could actually say that just by those definitions alone, plastic is a subcategory of polymers, the ones that are actually able to be injection molded or blow molded or put into different parts through melting and extrusion and other processes. So there's a little factoid about the actual origin of those two words, if you didn't know that.
So the Venn diagram, polymer is the big one, and then inside that, plastics is a subcategory.
Yeah,
outside
I would
of
say
is what, I guess peptides, DNA, they're
so
polymer-ish.
Yeah, I still feel like I don't fully have the figured out, like phylum, genus, species, I would say macromolecule is a very, very large term, very non-specific term. Mm-hmm. And so you could call, a lot of things macromolecules. Everything from DNA to proteins to polystyrene to polyethylene to, any of that, right? Mm-hmm. And so that would be probably the best overarching term to define the area of research that I might be an expert in.
Makes sense.
Polymer, I think, is in many ways a synthetic descriptor of macromolecules, in that we typically make one monomer polymerize many times. Mm-hmm. But, proteins are not that way. It's very sequenced and they're very different, each unit.
Even check what inning are we in?
We are in the bottom of the
fourth inning.
And I'm now going to start
now you're gonna start
turning it up a little bit.
All right.
It's my bases game that I'm not doing a good job at. Like, I'm just hitting it and running to first. So
I forgot, how does pitching work in this game? You can control where it goes while it's flying.
Yeah, so when you start the pitch, you hit up or down, that goes a fastball or a changeup. Or if you hit left and right, it'll start it from the left or the right.
I see. So you can get some curveballs. Oh, yeah. No, not enough. So I actually looked it up.
No!
Oh, double played from center field.
That's out of practice.
Yeah.
Because during my heyday, I would have caught that guy and sent him back.
Yeah.
All right, I've learned that.
Yep. Man, I'm glad we're drinking Corona this week. So it's only 4.5% alcohol. Scott Stagg brought a 9% beer.
Yeah, that stuff, man, I can't do it. I can't do these extremely high octane craft beers.
Yeah. The last Ask a Scientist was probably the most drunk I've been on stream. So I have to drink twice as much Corona to reach that threshold tonight. So it's going to be a long night ahead of us.
Right. Well, you did say that it gets a little warm in here, so that, a nice refreshing Corona Extra.
Exactly.
Get there. Oh, come on. Over the head. It's Bush League, man.
Oh, and so for anyone interested, we've been talking about it for some time, but we finally set up a Discord for Ask a Scientist Gaming. So I'm going to put that Discord link in chat. If you guys want to join us on the Discord, it's just essentially a message board. It lets you, share comments, put down questions for upcoming guests. If you're not going to be able to catch the stream live, you can do suggestions. There's a place to post science. There's a place to post memes. If you want to talk about games, whatever, join us on the Discord. It's just an opportunity, a shared space for all people that love gaming and science and, want to talk about Ask a Scientist Gaming as the overlap of those two Venn diagrams. So yeah, the Discord link is there in chat. Just there's your invite. Join us. Add some comments. It's brand new as of 2 days ago. So thanks to Cole and Colin for helping set that up and putting everything together. And yeah, we'll learn as we go. So yeah, feel free to join the Discord. We are top of the fifth.
Top of the fifth. I'm only down by 3 runs, which I feel is a win so far.
I mean, that's only a grand slam away. All right, Calm Down Bronco wants to know, what are some of the ways modern plastics are heading towards a greener future?
That's an extremely important problem that polymer scientists and polymer engineers are working towards. We face a two-pronged problem right now. One is that we, on the backs of extremely talented chemists, made a lot of the polymers that we know how to make today extremely well. Very stable, chemically stable, thermally stable. And as a result, a lot of these polymers are made very cheap, but they don't sort of have a life cycle that's on par with the rate that we use them. But another problem is the fact that we are at the mercy of sort of the needs of humans, material needs, and the problems that we have associated with the fact that there's a lot of convenience with plastics, and none of us are getting any less busy, it seems like. So we have a two-pronged problem that we're facing, and we need to start trying to think about, well, in what situations can we make a plastic to do the job that it does within the life cycle that it has? So, for example, I mean, pretty much anything that comes in the box with your Amazon purchase doesn't really need more than 4 or 5 days, because after you've done receiving the package, unless you reuse it, and if you do, good for you, but normally that just becomes waste. So what we're trying to do now, I think, as a community is start to develop polymers that aren't as awesome, right? I mean, you could say it that way.
Awesome in different ways.
In different ways. That they have some susceptibility to degradation, that they might be made out of more natural components, and as a result, when they do degrade, it's more like natural biodegradation, and that the products that it degrades into is certainly a little bit more close to like a natural type of degraded material that bacteria or whatever can chew up and deal with. So we're always going to need plastics that are stubborn and persistent. We just need to figure out where those belong and then where the other ones belong as well, right? So, yeah. I think it's a very loaded question, so hopefully I did a pretty good job of answering that, but...
Triboluminescence. I heard copolymers are used to make computer chips by directly self-assembly. Is that true?
Say the question one more time.
Copolymers are used to make computer chips by directed self-assembly. Is that true?
Yeah, that's what I did my postdoc on, actually.
Is that actually used commercially? Well, first explain what that is.
So my postdoc was funded by Dow. So there's a couple of patents. So there is industrial interest in this for sure. The idea is that Moore's law is, questionably a law at this point. You can only get so small with a laser. Oh, how do I go to second? There we go.
Oh,
I want to get thrown out, dude.
You are... Nope.
Oh! Took too long.
Yeah, I think it's up in B.
For some reason, going to second is down in B. All right. Anyway. So yeah, the desire to reduce the number or increase the number of transistors on a microchip by reducing their size through any means is important. So Blocko polymers, those are the specific types of polymers where you have essentially two different types of polymers that are chemically connected together at one end, okay? And so the old adage that water and oil don't mix, well, that applies to polymers as well. You can have watery polymers and oily polymers. And if you connect a watery polymer to an oily polymer, guess what? They don't want to mix together. But the fact is that because they're attached to one another, they can't fully just separate. So they have to make a compromise, which we call microphase separation. And this can, you can do a deep dive into the physics of the phase behavior of microphase separation. It's very complex and very interesting. But essentially, it's an autonomous behavior, just like oil and water not mixing together. And you can use that to control this microphase separation in such a way that you have domains that are rich in the watery polymer or the oily polymer, and you can try to manipulate the oily polymer region in such a way that you might be able to make a pattern on a chip. And so it's a very complex problem, not just with the chemistry, but also aligning the pattern, backfilling the pattern, making it viable for a microchip process. But it certainly was something that I enjoyed spending a few years of my life working on. From the chemistry side, we were making new materials that would make smaller and smaller features. So yes.
So current chip design it's photolithography, right? It's using light to pattern in polymers.
Yeah, and I think it's been a few years since I've been out of kind of that reading sector, but there was the EUV, the extremely high energy lithography, which, higher energy means shorter wavelength, which means smaller features. But every time you go up in the energy of the laser, the cost just starts going
through the roof.
Astronomical to the roof. Yeah. So and the time as well. I mean, imagine, let me take my finger making 2 dots. Okay, that took like what, half a second? Now, if I want to make 1 million dots, now that's going to take a long time. So you got a time and a expense problem. So the autonomous self-assembly is quite nice. It all happens.
That's what I'll probably have to go to next. That makes sense. Scuzzbot redeemed. Take a drink. Oh,
if my pitcher was the first one to knock it out, that would have been
worth it. Cheers, Scuzzbot. Cheers to everyone else joining us for Ask a Scientist Gaming. Justin Kennemur, polymer chemist, playing bases loaded, trying to hit greater than 1.5 home runs.
With Fix It. Here's Fix It here.
Fix It.
Come on, Fix It. Don't let me down. Get it. Oh, get
that's
some.
good though. That's good.
Go third. Don't go to second. Fix it. Dude, I think I can get home. Go.
Oh man, you got greedy.
Get in there.
Nice.
It's not a shutout, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Sig on this game.
Way to go, Fix It.
No home runs, but Fix It came through. All right, a big spooky skeleton wants to know, and this is a long one. Maybe I'll wait for you to.
All right.
Maybe I'll give you some time.
Well,
2 outs.
I'm listening. Oh, is it 2 outs?
Yep.
Well, maybe because I'm in the heart of my lineup right now. Maybe those are my heavy hitters. Get some. No, go back. Chicken, pickle. What are you doing?
Uh-oh.
No, I didn't want him to slide. No.
Just run him over.
All right, let's go with the big question.
The question is, so in the novel Gravity's Rainbow, scientists invent a polymer called Imoplex G to be used in rockets meant to replace the V2. Its structure is only hinted at, but it's supposed to be an indole-based polymer. Are there polymers that are made from indole monomers? If so, do they have any cool properties? Polyindoles. Those are conductors.
Yeah, that's a great question. Man, you got a very educated audience on this thing.
Well, we got a big spooky ghost dropping some literature and science knowledge on us.
Yeah, here's the deal. I would say this. If you name a species of molecule, I think that you would find that somebody has turned it into a polymer at some point. Whether or not it turned out to, make a extremely good material is, it can vary.
Oh,
but
to piggyback on that, anyone that's done synthetic organic chemistry, anytime you get that black crap, you've made a polymer.
That's right. If it's conjugated.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
That tarry crap, you've made a polymer of some kind unintentionally, but
some of the most popular conducting polymers, the polythiophene, right? If you put two polythiophene together, you get, I think you start to get an off yellow to an orange color. 3, 4, 5, you go progressively through the spectrum to black, right?
And you make a solar cell.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So polythiophene is the equivalent of polyindole, right? It's just the nitrogen for sulfur.
Yeah.
Yeah, but polyindoles were some of the early conducting polymers, if I remember correctly. So they conduct electricity well if you dope them with something.
Yeah, nitrogen always throws a little bit of a wrench in things because it has, the very basic lone pair. So if you put it in any sort of acidic media, it's usually going to start getting protonated. But then that might be a good thing. Maybe you want it protonated, but then it's positively charged. So, nitrogen has a very important role in polymer science, but it can also be kind of a non-option for certain applications. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Come on. What is that?
I think with nitrogen, it also becomes hygroscopic, right? Like it'll start uptaking water. I guess it depends on what the rest of the chain is.
Yeah, I mean, it can. Absolutely. If it has an accessible nitrogen and you can get a very polar material from nitrogen for sure.
What are we in? You're batting, it's bottom of 7th?
Oh man, 2 strikes?
It only takes 2 hits.
Who is this pitcher? Has they subbed him out yet? Get some.
Oh.
Oh man, this game.
Yeah. We played this way too much as kids. I played Bases Loaded too, actually. That was my go-to game.
So, a funny story. So, in case you guys didn't know this before you bet on the home runs thing, it's really a coin flip. This game has a way of, on certain days, I hit 4 home runs in the first inning. On other games, I didn't score a single point. So there's definitely a you're going to win or lose variable to this game.
Yep.
It used to get me so mad. I got in trouble like many times with yelling at the screen, my mom threatening to take away the video games.
So if I remember correctly, Bases Loaded, they actually did like a 60 game season on the Nintendo.
That's fair.
And you'd have like, wow. And so you'd play through all 60 games to get to the World Series. And then lose and start over again. Now they had memory codes on this, right?
They did.
Wow, triple, well done.
Yeah, that was a winner. Questionably fair. That was a winner.
We'll take it. All right, so question for me, and for the audience, any young scientists up and coming. So 8-year-old Justin didn't necessarily want to be a polymer chemist. What's what path led you to where you are today?
Yeah. 8-year-old Justin was just all about games and
Bases loaded.
Bases loaded, baseball. Scoring a run.
I just want to point out that 8-year-old Justin would be really proud of what you're doing right.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of interesting. I'm the first in my family to go to a 4-year university. And I did that with sort of an unknown expectation of what I was going to be kind of capable of doing. And, I was just having fun in high school. I cared more about doing hacky sacking and stuff like that than academics, but I knew that I was smart. I just didn't apply myself until I went to college. And so when I got to college, I took chemistry and I was being really serious about it because I went to Radford, with the hopes that I could be an architect, but they didn't have architecture school at Radford. So I was going to try and transfer to Virginia Tech with my first year at Radford being like as close to straight A's as possible. Right. And And so I was really serious about academics in my first year at Radford. Well, and most of my time at Radford, but specifically my first year. So I took chemistry. You take a lot of gen ed classes, and I did really good at it when I started applying myself. And to be honest with you, it just felt really good to be good at something that I guess either other people weren't willing to put the time into, because I think that's a big part of it. But maybe there was some critical thinking analysis or something that was there for me. And so that's really where it began. One, that I didn't have a lot of understanding of something that I was good at. And two, that when I found something I was good at, I started to like it for that reason. And this is a good lesson to all the students that might be in the audience right now. Like, finding your career is not, like true love. The clouds open, a ray of sunshine comes down from the heavens, and
true love isn't that either, by the way.
Yeah, true love.
But anyway.
Yeah. I think
you're not going to have that moment. It's going to be an accumulation of.
That's right.
Yeah.
You start to like it because you're a little bit good at it. Mm-hmm. But you start to really love it when you work to get really good at it, right? And then that's when it sort of pays you back a little bit. And so I kept at chemistry. It's an employable profession. I'll figure out something to do with this, right? And so I kept on it and found polymers like I described earlier. And I actually went into industry and worked in the area of polymers before I went to grad school. So, I was still trying to search for what my ceiling was at that point, and went into industry, liked that, but realized that I could do maybe a PhD level job, and I was never going to get the pay or the respect for it. So I went back to grad school to get the PhD so I can get the paycheck and the respect that I wanted, and just kept going from there. Yeah.
Makes sense. All right, Bronco wants to know, any recommendations for finding a great research PhD program that aren't from Ivy League-esque schools, sleeper programs, if you will? So, shout out to Justin. He is taking over graduate admissions.
That's right.
So he is going to be the go-to guy next year. In fact, we should do a stream. I don't know if you saw the one with Eugene, but we did like a graduate admissions Q&A with Eugene. So we should probably do that again in the fall. If you're up for it.
I just want to point this out. I got 2 men on, and my heavy hitters are up.
All right.
Oh, and I whiff just out of pure stress.
No, it's fine. It's one strike. We'll let you focus.
Yeah, it's intense. It's always a foul when I think that I got all of it. Come on, Patty. Come on, Patty. Get me some.
This is it, believers. Here's your moment.
Get some.
Get it. Get out of the yard.
No.
Short. All right. Recommendations for finding great PhD programs. I think the first thing is don't think about the program as much as the people.
I think that's a very excellent point. I could tell you a number of colleagues that are not at top Ivy League universities that I think are just extremely talented and do great work. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe my advice on that would be to find, if you know the area that you want to kind of maybe go to grad school and work in, and if you don't, that's fine as well. But if you kind of do know an area that you're interested in, maybe talk to a professor that's currently at your university, about that question, because we all kind of learn each other through research and through conferences and through meeting each other and stuff like that. So we can identify, I mean, probably within the same state, if you wanted to, people that might be really, up and comers or talented people that just fly below the radar.
Or, I mean, there's even big dogs that work at not top ranked universities. Like, I went to University of Southern California and worked for Mark Thompson, and that guy's an absolute giant, right? And so he's not at a Ivy League, he's not at a top 10, but he is a superb professor, great advisor. I loved working for Mark Thompson. But finding those people, and honestly, if your GPA is low, you're probably not going to get into a top 10 program. And so you got to find like you said, the sleeper schools where somebody you'll work for somebody that's awesome or somebody up and coming, or yeah, find the individuals, I think is a big one.
And the relationship that because people that are not at the top 10 schools are trying to find you, right? We're trying to find the students that want to just kill it. And so it's like a symbiotic relationship, right? If you think about it. Yeah.
So Bronco, send me or Justin an email. He's an FSU student. So
oh yeah, send me an email.
Tell us the area you're interested in. We can give you a list of names that might be.
Yeah, even a state that you might be interested in, because there's a lot that I can think of, and narrowing it down to like a region would be even easier.
And we could look at your GPA, GRE, and give you a rough idea where you could get in or where you'd be competitive. And
all right, I'm getting angry. I'm going to bean this guy.
You gonna teach him a lesson for beating you?
Oh, I've lost all my curve. This guy needs to go. This is what I probably should have done a few innings ago. They haven't
gotten runs the last few innings though.
Bring in Wild Thing.
Ooh, Reese's Pieces has a follow-up related to the previous one, and it's, what is your experience or advice for young scientists trying to discover their research interests?
Yeah. I mean,
they drove him in on a golf cart. What is this?
Yeah, man, they're bringing in Vaughn. I can. I can only. That's a good question, and I'm gonna have to disappoint you because I only know one person's sort of experience to that question, and that was like my own. So, I mean, I was very blessed at Radford University where there was a lot of courses that I could explore different areas, and so I was able to sort of dabble in this or dabble in that a little bit, and really, you find kind of the thing that I liked. You might not have that option, and if that's the case, it's not like you're at a deficiency or anything.
Sorry to interrupt. You have 2 outs to get 2 home runs.
Get some. I don't think it's going to happen, man. The game has decided. It was mad because I benched my leadoff hitter on the first play, and the coach didn't like that.
You could still win it.
I could still win it. That's what's
even
important.
Without home runs.
You play to win the game. Oh, no, go back.
Oh, no. He's in the pickle.
I'm bad at this.
Yeah, discovering your research interests, one thing you have to do is do research. Like, you have to actually get in a lab and do research, like undergrad research opportunities, not the formalized one, but just find a lab to work in, because there's something to be said about actually experiencing it. Like, on paper, you can really love something, but if you don't love it on a day-to-day basis, research is not going to be for you. And so getting in lab, finding out what you like, what you don't like is going to be a big one. All right, we're going to choose an outcome, and the answer is less than 1.5. Congratulations, skeptics.
Justin. I thought Baker would get me at least 1.
So enjoy it's a 1 to 1.86 payoff. Sorry, Bronco. We appreciate you being a believer, but 780 goes to Alex, Rob, and others. don't take it personally.
I don't.
Skeptics on your bases loaded skills.
Time is rude, man. You know what got me as far as losing. It had nothing to do with home runs, but losing was base play, running back and forth.
Yeah, getting thrown out and whatnot. Yeah.
I should have just made it about winning or losing, but home runs seemed like a more exciting challenge.
It's over under. We could have done the score too next time. All right, so before we move on from baseball, we're going to throw up a prediction about Justin Kennemur. You used to play baseball back in the day, Little League, what did you say? It was 80 something?
I played baseball from when I was about old enough to T-ball to all the way through middle school, and then stopped when I got to high school.
So did Justin lead the league, the New York County Little League, in batting average or stolen bases?
Yeah.
There's no way you guys could possibly know this, but
they're sizing me up right now.
Does he look like he could hit hard or run fast is the extent of your information, and then apply a 30-year time machine to that. And then
which is the important part, I
think. Was he a leader in stolen bases or batting average? It's kind of a fun factoid learning about professors' history and their life.
Yeah, we all had childhoods. We weren't always like just scientists.
Yeah, exactly. So bet your standard internet units. Anyone watching right now that's not following, click the follow button, get your 300 points, and bet on a question that's almost entirely arbitrary which way it's going to go. But we're going to ask it anyway. It was Justin, the Yorks County Little League leader in batting average or stolen bases.
Yeah.
So you played Little League? Did you play like intermediate in high school?
I played T-ball, T-pitch, coach pitch, Little League, Senior League, middle school, and then stopped after middle school. Yeah. And it got to a point where it was like becoming like a job, man.
Yeah.
I had a lot of things I liked doing. And once you get to that level, it's really like you got to commit like hours after every school day to it. And then you got to do homework. So it's like it just becomes like you don't get anything else to do sometimes.
It physically damages you long term as well.
Oh yeah, my shoulder. This shoulder is dead. By the way,
God.
This shoulder. I threw it out in senior league from center field. Got the guy out, but
Worth it.
Worth it.
Oh man. All right. So prediction is closed. Justin led the York County Little League in batting average or stolen bases. Which one was it, Justin?
It was stolen bases.
Stolen bases. So
Yeah.
you're the fast one. Congratulations, Bronco and 2 other people. They get a 1 to 1.8 payout. Yeah. Educated guesses. Well done. Stolen bases.
Very
in Little
good.
League. All right.
Yeah, I was a quick little bugger.
All right. We're done with baseball. Well, unless you want to follow up on being a quick little bugger.
Well, no, I mean you put me in the what is it, the mile, and I'm like dead last. But you just tell me to run a sprint, and I was pretty good back
so
then.
Little League, it would have been 60 feet, right?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. All right. What are we moving on to?
We are moving on to.
That was about a 40-minute game.
Okay, not too bad. I think that's probably where we wanted to come in, right? I mean,
It's not bad.
somewhere around 4 games a night, 3 hours. We'll get there. So yeah, we're moving on to a masterpiece of a Nintendo game that I think was game changing. I mean, would you agree?
Yeah.
I mean,
this
we were
is
just
an
talking
iconic
about
game.
this the other day. Contra was really, the game that made me forget about Super Mario. And sorry for all you Super Mario fans, but the ability to run, jump, duck, shoot upward, shoot downward, shoot diagonally, shoot
Different guns.
different guns,
Changing level.
It was just everything, and it was like brain overload.
Quick question. Do you want Game Genie? Probably.
Let's start without it, and then let's
right.
go into it.
3 lives. You guys, well, 2 lives. No, it's 3. And you'll see how ruthless this game actually is. So Rob Tomko played this in Super Contra, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's an iconic game, no question about it. All right, so anyone just joining us, this is Ask a Scientist Gaming, mediocre gameplay combined with expert level science. We, every 2 weeks now, we have a scientist on. This week's guest is Justin Kennemur. He's a polymer chemist. He knows all things plastics, polymers, also organic synthetic chemistry. He's also playing Contra and doing so without Game Genie right now. So if you guys have any questions for Justin Kennemur, please throw them in chat right now, and we will be happy to answer those questions. We've done a prediction about this. How far will Justin make it?
No, not my spread.
Oh, sniped.
Well, that was game over. Man, that didn't last long.
That's true. CX Xander says, but everyone knew about the 30-man Konami cheat code.
Yeah.
Do you know the cheat code?
It was, you never forget it. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, BA. And then you hit select if it was 2-player, and then you just hit start if it was 1-player. Did I win? Was that right?
I think that's the Contra one. It might have only 1 BA. It depends which game. So Konami was the company that had this code, but sometimes they'd use BA, and sometimes it would just be BA. And
Interesting.
I honestly don't remember which one it was.
If you did BA twice, would it not work?
Probably not. Just a good try. But yeah, Konami code. Fun factoid, if you do the Konami code on my website, you get a surprise page. It actually brings you to a different browser. Yeah, there's a bunch of... I learned about this. This was like really popular early internet as all the gaming nerds. They embedded the Konami code in a bunch of websites. And so you'd be surprised how many websites have some kind of Konami Easter egg if you put that code in there. It's kind of fun.
I mean, clearly spread is the best gun in this game. I mean, you almost get upset when you have the spread and you accidentally get something different.
It's true. Like the laser. Absolutely useless. All right, Triboluminescence wants to know what properties make a polymer good.
Yeah, I mean, one of the reasons... Oh, no, that was lame. One of the reasons that I think polymers have become so prolific is because, pick your application, right?
Oh, there it is.
If you want something to be rubbery, if you want it to be bulletproof, if you want something to be malleable, if you want it to be, some of more the advanced properties, shear hardening, or other very important things for like viscosity modification or whatever. If you want it to be adhesive, if you want it to be a good wall paint, if you want it to be biocompatible or maybe antibacterial. There's just such a playground, I think, for polymers, depending on the application that you want. Let's do the Game Genie.
So you almost made it through level 1. All right, Infinite Lives is now active. We should be good. Maybe
Awesome.
Test it, run into a guy.
Never.
All right, we'll test it anyway. But yeah, I guess it depends on what good is your what good are you going for?
So let's just pick one for the sake of answering the question. All right. So let's say you want it to be a versatile cup for either cold or hot beverages. So there's a couple of properties that we would initially want to look at there. One is if we want it to be recyclable. If you want it to be recyclable, we would want it to be what we call a thermoplastic, which means we can remelt it at some higher temperature and then like melt it down and reform it into something different, right? So that's one property that we look for if we want some level of recyclability. Okay, so that's that. Let's say that we also want it to be tolerant or not lose its shape with hot beverages. There's an important property called a glass transition temperature, the temperature at which a plastic will soften. So we want that to be pretty high, at least above 100 degrees Celsius where water boils, right?
Oh, sniped again. It was the
Man,
same guy.
That guy is my bane.
Nailed it.
Do we want it to be clear? Do we want it to be thermally insulating? That's another, I guess, important property for beverages. So yeah, so the idea here is that we can make a variety of polymers or copolymers to adhere to these different types of properties that we want. And I'll say this too. Usually, there's no one polymer that meets all the bills, right? And usually, a lot of the polymers that we come across don't meet the bills completely the way the industry wants them. So that's where we start getting things like additives and the problems that start to arise with these things that leach out of plastics. So if a polymer is just a little bit too brittle, they might add what we call plasticizers. I'm terrible at this. And then, really terrible. I can't remember how I used to beat this.
You can shoot those guns.
Oh, that's what I need to do.
You gotta blow those guys up first. Yep, there you go.
Well, that made it a lot easier.
No worries.
Yeah, so if you wanted to soften a polymer or make it a little bit more malleable, you know that when you get a fresh liner for your shower curtain and it has that smell, that's not the plastic that you're smelling. That's usually a plasticizer within the vinyl that softens it a little bit.
That's so outgassing then.
Yeah, that's just the smell of the small molecule. And small molecules have aroma, right? Yeah. A plastic usually doesn't have a smell because smell is an olfactory detector of vapors, and it's a material that doesn't volatilize. So usually when you smell something on a plastic, it's because a small molecule is either leaching out or has come from degradation, right? Man, okay.
This is serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was another, like, it wasn't just side scroller. It had the like 3D, pseudo 3D walking forward aspect of it. Classic game. All right, so there's a question on Reddit when I posted this to advertise. Are you accepting graduate students next year?
Yes. The answer to that question is always yes. The number of how many I will take or can take, to be honest, is not quite known yet. So let's just leave it at that. And by next year, do they mean in the fall of 2022?
I would or fall 2021. It might be somebody that's already accepted and looking to. I don't know. I do not know. We can't follow up on Reddit, unfortunately.
I got you.
But next fall, you're taking students, probably the year after. The answer is every year we're taking students.
Yeah, I mean, we're always looking for funding, and when funding hits, we're taking students because we need people to do that work. When funding has been a little lean, we have to cut back a little bit, and that's just the nature of the beast. But rats, there are a lot of ways to get funding, so hopefully, hopefully the answer is yes.
All right, questions for Justin Kennemur. Throw them in chat if you have questions. If not, I'll throw some of my favorites out there. And I think I could have given you a Game Genie code to start with spreads.
That's all right. Has anybody mentioned how awful I'm doing at this?
No. We don't judge gameplay. It's in the title, mediocre gameplay, expert
Okay,
level
good.
science. They are judging you as a scientist, though.
Oh, well.
So it goes.
Let's hope we're not fact-checking.
That's true. You guys have access to the internet. We could be right or wrong on most of this. Hopefully we're right. But
No, we're right. I think I'm doing pretty good on accuracy here.
is there going to be a polymer conference in Tallahassee in the near future?
That'd be awesome.
Is there going to be a conference anywhere in the near future?
That'd be awesome.
So I got an invite to Surmax, the Southeast
I did too.
ACS meeting in Alabama. So that's November 10th in person. So I think that's the first.
I would really like to go to that, and I would really hope that by that time we have a normal conference at that point. Also, good to know that you're going because I'm going to be doing the graduate recruitment booth.
Nice. Let's carpool. Let's do this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I actually got an invite to present sensing, which didn't expect. I've one paper on sensing, and I got an invite to present on that paper. So
Cool.
Yeah, that should be fun. But yeah, we don't host a lot of big conferences in Tallahassee. We do like specialty smaller conferences, but not necessarily big ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's always an area for growth.
It's good for visibility, good for attention.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the Mag Lab certainly has a way of having an area of science that draws the interest of maybe like a conference because this is a unique place in the world that has that. So, for example, like Sonoma Wine Country is almost embarrassingly the destination of so many conferences because of the draw of the wine country, right?
Yeah.
But there are some real gems developing in Tallahassee. I think the Cascades part, the Railroad Square, and all these different areas that can provide more than just the conference, especially in the restaurant category. I think that we're really doing an awesome job getting some high quality restaurants around here. So yeah, who knows?
All right. So here's one of my favorite questions. I've given this to you ahead of time. I hope you did your homework, but I've seen a lot of movies, love movies. They're my favorite.
Yep.
What movie or TV show gets your discipline right and what gets it wrong?
Yeah,
Tangential, as close to your field as possible.
I'm going to go with the who gets it right answer. Mm-hmm. Because I think getting it wrong is actually kind of difficult. Polymers are never really the focus of anything in a movie, unless it's like a documentary about like sea turtles or something, right? this is a fantastic show that's already canceled.
Oh, man.
The show was on Cinemax, and we had like all the pay channels for free at one point. And so I came across this show called Nick. This is a show, man, I'm terrible, based off of a hospital in the 1900s, or right around 1900. So to give you an idea, the first synthetic polymer...
Keep going.
The first synthetic polymer came around in around 1905, 1910, right? So this is basically a show that had an opportunity to show what hospitals were like before polymers. And they do a fantastic job. I thought that they just did a phenomenal job. Everything from the tubing having to be like nasty natural rubber that's being reused
like
over and over again.
Or something.
Yeah. And like they're using glass bottles to hold blood and just all sorts of things that I thought, you know, what a challenge it must be for the people that are making this show to not be able to use any plastics in the production. And so, like, I highly recommend it. Again, it didn't last very long, but the experience of I think the efforts of the people of that show to not be able to use plastics and to hold true to that, I think was pretty darn good.
So you're saying set and costume design was good. Is the show good?
I don't remember much about the show. It's kind of enthralled about all that. Maybe that's why it's canceled. But in any case, right, I think it's just a testament to... You know, I know that plastics get a bad rap, and we do produce probably way too much, and we certainly use way too much. But the benefit that plastics have provided, particularly in the area of medicine, I think are something that sometimes gets overlooked. So, yeah, nice. I remember that guy's little arms came down and stiffened like that.
All right, so that show, what was the name of it again?
Nick.
Got polymers right. As far as you know, no one's gotten polymers wrong?
Well, it's just kind of weird, right? It's like, again, it's not the focus of the show. So I've never been like, you called that polystyrene and it's clearly polypropylene, right? And no one ever does that in a show. So, you know, I can't think of any examples right now.
So I've one that's borderline plastic.
Okay.
Star Trek 4. Do you remember that one?
So I haven't seen many Star Treks.
Oh.
I have not.
So Star Trek 4 is when they went back in time and they had to save whales. And so whales could communicate with us. I don't want to do too many spoilers here, but one of the things that happens in the movie is they need a container. They need a giant aquarium for a whale that they can put on a ship. And so the engineer Scotty goes and puts some kind of code in the computer and comes up with a transparent, like super high strength, metallic, clear, plastic-ish thing. Yeah. So I'm not going to ask you the validity of that because you can't make metals transparent by nature, but supposedly Star Trek 4 has a code to a super strong polymer that can hold many gallons.
I will after this, I will
You're going to watch it?
Yeah, I will have to see this.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, like shows like CSI always make certain things ridiculous. For example, you could call like a monkey's hair a polymer. And I remember this one episode of CSI where, you know, they were investigating a murder and they found this one arbitrary hair on the car seat or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they put it in this magical instrument. Within 3 seconds, it tells them that it's the hair of a baboon from like only one part of the, you know, like continent, right? Or something ridiculous. No instrument is, well, yet that good, but instruments are getting a lot computer smarter. That's for sure.
There's some aspects that have like auto, like the ones they use for security and stuff at airports, they'll pop up if it has a certain signature, it's probably this. But yeah, when you're doing a random sample of something, CX Xander, that is the chemical enhance equivalent right there. Here's your structure automatically. Yeah, Triboluminescence knows what I'm talking about. Transparent aluminum is what they called it.
Nice.
So maybe it's not a polymer question, but it's transparent and it's not entirely.
That sounds like a I solved something in phase behavior of metals, like metallurgy.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Worth the watch though. That's one of the best Star Trek movies. I'll fight you, anyone in the audience. Ice Monkey GW, thank you for the follow. Enjoy your standard internet units. Buy some emotes, including ethanol and a Venucci Rage. We haven't been using enough Venucci Rage in chat.
What is a Venucci Rage?
So, Aaron, when he was playing Madden 2007, he rage quit after an interception. So we made the emote, which is right there, which is Aaron Venucci with rage over his head. So he was our first rage quit.
I wish I had seen that because
Don't worry, it's on YouTube.
I didn't choose any Madden or games of that nature because of the rage quality. Yeah, I had a friend run 300 yards on me with Rich Gannon one game. I broke the controller. Rich Gannon? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. That's classic. Lorraine22, welcome to Ask a Scientist Gaming. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, feel free to drop your questions in chat. Questions you have about polymers, chemistry, whatever. We will do our best to answer those questions. Fun factoid, Justin and I have actually published together.
We have. Very cool paper too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun. You're my first in-department collaboration.
Yeah,
in department.
Me and Mike Shatruck have a contest for the number of connecting lines we can have to other faculty in the department. He is one ahead of me, but I have a paper coming out with Mike Roper soon.
Ah,
We'll get one more. Try playing against Oakland on Tecmo Bowl. You are exactly right. It's Super Tecmo Bowl is the one. Yeah, it was Bo Jackson to Raiders. That's where the rage quit.
Yeah, he was too much.
Fun factoid on the original Tecmo Bowl. So I don't know if you know this, Justin, but I sped run Tecmo Bowl. Like that was my thing for a little while. So I'm the number 8 Tecmo Bowl speedrunner. But it turns out if you use the Nintendo version versus the Japanese version, it gives you different player speeds. And so if you're playing on the US version, you play with a certain team. If you're playing on the Japanese one, Bo Jackson is so overpowered. And so
Really?
yeah. So that's why you pick Oakland for Tecmo Bowl if you're on the Japanese version of the original. All right, Bronco says good night, early morning tomorrow. If I remember correctly, he's doing a full class load during the summer, which is pretty brutal.
Yeah, that is brutal, man.
Bronco,
I remember.
Send us an email about faculty or at least topical areas or states or locations or something you're interested in. Yeah, CC both of us or email us directly, and we're happy to answer your questions.
I forgot the secret of this. What do we hit them when they merged?
Yep.
Okay,
And
there we
just
go.
Focus on one of them. Yep.
They got a lot of bubbles. There we go.
Yeah, so now you gotta, yep, that side. A creative bad guy. Like it's such a trivial, like moving back and forth, but something really new for gameplay.
Oh, I forgot I could shoot the bubbles. That makes a lot of difference.
Mediocre gameplay. Expert level science, congratulations. Tore down that level. Transparent aluminum.
Transparent aluminum.
Now, there's a great scene going into that where he's trying to do it on the computer and he's like trying to talk to the computer directly. And then they're like, you can't just talk to it. And they point to the mouse and then he picks up the mouse and tries to talk into the mouse. It's just superb. That's the best Star Trek movie, no question. Just Call Me Jar has redeemed Take a Drink.
Oh, yeah.
So,
it's been a
Justin,
while. Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers, yeah.
Pleasure to have you. Hopefully you're enjoying the gameplay. Just getting wrecked over and over again by your childhood.
I can't imagine that maybe I'm wrong, but I can't imagine that like anybody's broken a speed record or anything on this.
Yes. The speed record is 9 minutes and they don't die once.
No, I mean one of your guests.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah.
Eugene is, I think, the only other speedrunner that's been a guest, and he plays Doki Doki Panic / Mario 2.
I see. What was my final time on bases loaded?
It was like 40 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty close.
But there's a lot of pauses in there. You could, if you actually tried, you could get a reasonable time on that.
Next time. Oh,
all right, I'm going to do another plug in chat. If anyone's interested in joining us offline or off live Twitch chat, We have a Discord now set up for Ask a Scientist Gaming. You can go in there, you can drop questions for future guests, you can see the upcoming schedule, you can add suggestions, things we should add, things we should change, things we should do with our imaginary internet points because we lack creativity. Throw anything in there. There's a channel for gaming, for science, for memes, whatever you want to throw in there. Join us, share information, drop a line, introduce yourself, say hi. Yeah, join us on Discord and we can hang out in the intervening space between
you can't jump on them?
gaming streams. Nope, you gotta just shoot the hell out of
That's the lamest automobile gun I've ever seen.
I'm gonna write an angry letter. Konami, what were you
It's like, here comes this big spiked truck, and then it's like, pew! Very uneventful. Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do a future question.
This guy.
I think you gotta shoot up into it, maybe? I don't remember.
It's making the little doink, 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 doink noise.
Let's go.
That's like a good one. Let's turn a color. If I can stop getting shot by the lame gun.
Load on it. Oh, so close.
Oh, well.
All right, so what do you think the next major breakthrough in polymer chemistry is going to be in the next 10 years? Like, what's the next Nobel Prize in polymer chemistry?
Well, so I would say the next Nobel Prize has sort of been developed. Yeah. And that's kind of a long, interesting story where I think that the amount of people that deserve recognition for the development of it are too many that can get it for the Nobel Prize. So I wonder if it's one of those situations where your mortality comes into play on whether or not you get the Nobel Prize, and that's a shame. But I as far as the future, I think I've said this to you before, and I'll tell your viewers now. I think that we are two trains running towards each other: the area of synthetic polymer science and the area of people understanding how the complex biomacromolecules that exist naturally behave and work. So for a long time, we've been nowhere close to being able to synthesize the level of complexity that nature has already put out there. And we also haven't, for the longest time, been able to understand why nature made them so specifically the way they are. And every discovery and every year, it seems like those two trains are heading towards each other in the center. And so I really think that with the advent of 3D printing and those two trains heading toward each other, that one day we're going to be, medicine's going to get revolutionized in a way that, if you're exposed to a toxin and your liver fails or something like that, that you'll be able to get another one through a 3D printer that's compatible with your body. That doesn't have to come from another person, right? I think that's a future thing. I don't think it's sci-fi anymore. It's like the theme of Westworld or whatever, but I actually do believe that that's something that maybe within Vivian's lifetime might actually be a reality. So, yeah.
Think about 30 years ago.
Yeah, right?
No, there's no question. Major things are.
Watch that show, The Nick. That was like 120 years ago. That's not bad. There's still a person alive that's 120 years old, right? Like super person.
Yeah, the one person that's 123 or something like that. Wow. Yeah. Oh, happy Polymer. Sorry I missed your question. You're curious whether the batteries in our phones, iPad, etc., have any polymers in them.
So that's a good question. The
sealant is almost certainly a polymer.
Yeah, there is polymers in them. Whether or not they contribute a lot to the functioning area of the battery, terrible at this spray. Hang on, there we go. Nope. How do you get past this thing?
Oh, you just gotta wait for it. Time it up. Yep.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, there's like binders and things that hold different functional layers of a battery together that are definitely made of polymers. My guess is that the case that surrounds almost every battery case has some polymer component to it. But the real meat of it, I think, still has a liquid electrolyte in it for the most part. But, the whole bad kind of image that you have of maybe like a lithium-ion battery that burns and explodes, a lot of that is because of the flammability of the liquid electrolyte. So there's been a real desire to replace the liquid electrolyte with a less flammable and safer component. But the problem with liquids is that they flow really well. That's what makes it a liquid. Polymers have a lot of viscosity, so that makes it a lot of difficulty for ions to pass through it fast. So it's been a real challenge. But in any case, I think that there's been a lot of fantastic developments lately that give a lot more possibilities to potentially making more solid-based polyelectrolytes. Yeah.
Racist Pistol wants to know, do you know the movie The Island, where they grow clones for organ transplant for the original bodies? I have not seen The Island.
You know what? I'm trying to... Is this like last 5 years new type of show?
I found the Island from 2005.
Maybe
directed by Michael Bay. Did the bodies explode? No, not that one.
I don't think that I've had. I remember something from the last several years that I was watching at one point, but it probably wasn't that. Oh, you know what? No, I remember what it was now. It was not about harvesting organs. It was about transferring like your brain over to like another community when you die or something like that. Yeah.
Yep, that one. The inhabitants of the island are used for organ harvesting and surrogates for wealthy people outside. Yep, there it is.
That's a very interesting yet morally problematic way of 3D printing organs. But you know,
I mean, it's the OG 3D printer, so
yeah.
know your
That's
roots.
right. Yeah. My wife 3D printed a baby in 9 months.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
No, that's awesome. I'm going to have to watch this because I haven't seen it. Starring Ewan McGregor, Scarlett Johansson, Sean Bean in
it's
it.
pretty star-studded.
Sean Bean probably dies. Steve Buscemi, Michael Clark Duncan. Solid
Steve
lineup.
Buscemi and I haven't seen it?
Yeah, no.
What a gem.
You got two movies on your list from tonight.
No, that's
The
great.
Island and Star Trek 4. Thank you, Reese's Pieces. We will take a look at it.
Can I really just dive into Star Trek 4 without having really spent much on 1, 2, and 3?
I mean, you know who Captain Kirk is, who Spock is. You'll be fine.
What's the secret with this Neanderthal
Just
here?
shoot the hell out of him. That's it.
Okay, good.
This is the secret for most of these guys. I think it's just shoot the hell out of them.
My reaction time has decreased.
Microfluidic tried to jump over that guy.
Can you do that?
I don't.
It didn't seem possible. All right, well, we're not going back.
I mean, maybe. I don't actually know. You might be able to. The speed run of this level is spectacular, by the way. They just don't stop. They go flawlessly through it.
Yeah, I think if you have memorized the little spiky patterns here, you don't have to sit there and figure it out.
Have you tried using a polymer chain? This is the comment from Chad.
Yeah, I mean, I would...
Speed strat, look at that. Right over the top. Well done, sir.
Oh, good. I was like, how do I get to this?
All right, anyone just joining us? We have Justin Kennemur, polymer chemist who knows all things polymers and plastic. He's playing Contra with Game Genie codes, so don't worry about the large number of deaths. We are going to get through this game tonight.
Yeah.
But
I mean, death makes it exciting.
But while doing that, we're happy to answer any questions you may have, as well as, drink while doing it. So
Yeah.
I want to express how difficult it is to play games, drink, and talk science at the same time. It is a very unique experience.
So I was thinking about this. I think a 97% of my gaming pastime has not been with alcohol. A lot of
Good point.
I've played a lot of video games specifically. A lot of games have been largely, with beer, like maybe darts or pool or things like that. But video games, I actually haven't really drank much and played video games, especially the intense ones that require like a lot of focus. So, like Contra. That's my excuse.
So actually, to do my Mario speedrunning, my best times, I drank.
Really?
Yeah. No,
I would have gone with like coffee.
No. It's because you get, so Mario, I don't know how many people care about this, but it's a 5-minute speed run, right? So you have to execute basically perfectly the patterns that you do for 5 minutes straight. And so when you're 4 minutes and 30 seconds into that, your heart rate is way up, you're stressed out, you're nervous. Why not have a drink and just suppress that a little bit?
Yeah.
It's the depressant aspect of alcohol really helps in that front. But yeah, if you're playing something like, you know, first-person shooter and you need fast response, you can do performance enhancing.
Oh yeah, like Call of Duty 4.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like Red Bull and sniper rifle. Let's go.
Adderall. Let's do this. Let's just get hopped up. What if you had to defend your dissertation in this format? It kind of feels like that now, though, with the Zoom meetings.
Yeah, these are like questions right here from the, oh no, and then there's the wall, the one that you just have no answer for.
Yeah, just unload. I'd respect somebody more if they were able to play games and defend their thesis, but I won't make it mandatory.
Well, it might help some people because I think in a lot of scenarios I've seen some overthinking to the questions of a thesis.
Yeah.
Really, it's supposed to be kind of like a softball answer, and I know you know the answer, but I think the nerves of the situation kind of cause an overreaction and a loss of confidence in just a simple question, right? So,
that's one piece of advice I'd have for every grad student, like qualifying exam or defense. Make sure you understand what the question is before you answer it. Like, answering the wrong question is not how you want to do it. Because then it just, the person responds like, either like, yeah, or they don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, make sure you know what the question is and answer the question that is asked.
oh man.
Oh man, FSU is losing
Oh yeah.
5-2 at the top of the 7th.
Top of the 7th. Okay.
Yeah.
We got some time. Well, I mean, it's not do or die this game because we got the lead.
Yeah. So for those of you not familiar, we're from Florida State. Florida State softball is in the championship game, I guess, or games. It's best out of 3. So yeah, they won the first game. Now it's on to the second game, and they're losing 5-2 in the top of the 7th, and it's a 7-inning series or 7-inning game. So not looking good tonight for FSU softball. But Contra.
But
All right.
me and Contra.
Happy Polymer wants to know how to improve the abrasion resistance of polymers such as tires.
Yeah. Well, don't peel out. That'd be the first.
Don't use your tires.
Don't burn out in the parking lot doing donuts.
Use them within the recommended parameter space.
So you want that abrasion resistance is also tech. It's giving you grip, right? So while, yeah, like for example, your pencil eraser and your tires have a lot in common. That abrasion is creating a lot of grip and removing either the lead from the paper when you're erasing, or making your car propel at a pretty smooth rate when you're driving. So you sort of want the abrasion because that property comes along with it. So, you know, I think maybe if the question was like, how do you improve the lifetime of a tire? I think tires are one of the most over-engineered items of all time. I mean, there are so many components in a tire. It's ridiculous. It really is. And I don't understand why or how it got to that level of additives. So, for example, the rubber in a tire is not black. That's all like carbon
So I'm going to give you a hint on this one. Run at the wall and just aim up at the mouth. Just keep running towards the wall and aim up.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Right there.
Yep, that's the sweet spot.
There we go.
Nice.
Good job.
Worth
It's all about that spot, right?
Yeah. No, that's most Nintendo games. If you just learn the rules, like, or learn the sweet spot.
Or remember them.
Yeah,
At
exactly.
some point I knew that.
Well, so back in the day, we didn't have the internet, right? So you had your Nintendo Power magazine or nothing.
Yeah.
And that was it.
That's right. Nintendo Power was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think I answered the question.
Abrasion resistance.
Yeah. So I'll follow up on that and say that airplane tires are actually quite fascinating because they're made out of a different type of rubber that strain hardens. And so that type of material what happens is that under compression, it becomes more hard, like a more of a hard plastic than a rubbery plastic. And so strain hardening, you can imagine when the plane basically lands on the tarmac and you have that incredible amount of force that is suddenly put on this abrasive rubber tire. The strain hardening character actually very much goes a long way to improving the lifetime of those tires because of that property. We actually have some research on some elastomers that are being shown to have that property. There's some people at ExxonMobil that are very interested in those types of materials and have been doing research as well with them. So I think it's pretty cool property. I'm pretty awful at this game.
I love the final boss in this game. Kind of like non-Newtonian rubber. Yeah. It's the non-standard response.
Yeah.
What is that? The non-Newtonian fluid. You can make something with like borax, and it's...
Yep, borax and like polyvinyl alcohol or Elmer's glue.
Yeah,
you can make
non-Newtonian fluids.
Yep, mayonnaise is like your classic non-Newtonian fluid, right? I mean,
yeah. So this one you got to shoot the heart. It's the same thing. Run up to it. I don't know if I should. Do you want spoilers or hints or anything?
No, I know that I've beaten this game. It's just been so long.
Yeah. It's cornstarch and water. Yeah, that's a really easy way to do it. They're like materials where you punch them and they get harder, whereas if you do light force, they're lighter.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
All right. I'm going to take a break for 3 seconds.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Sounds good. All right. In the meantime, I'm going to post a prediction question here. And so this is a science-based question, not gameplay-based question. The question is... I'm going to put this up right now. We're going to have 2 minutes to answer. Anyone that wants to spend their imaginary internet points, anyone that's watching but not following, click follow, and then you'll get your 300 imaginary internet points, and you can spend them on this prediction. Gamble away. So the first non-natural polymers were designed for, or to supply the military or to save the elephants. And so why did we make non-natural polymers? And so natural polymers are things like peptides and DNAs. It wasn't until, the last century that humans have started making polymers themselves. So the question was, did they make those non-natural polymers, things like nylon, things like plastics, to supply the military or to save the elephants? Two very different contrasting goals associated with polymers. But yeah, a key part of the history of generating polymers. And so you guys have 2 minutes. Use your imaginary internet points. Again, click follow if you want more points you can spend. Again, these are entirely arbitrary points, but kind of fun to guess on whether it's for supplying the military or save the elephants. Ninja Physics, I'm voting pessimistically. You're doing the meta-analysis of this question. It's that's the skeptic in you says probably it's for the military, but we will see what the answer is when Justin gets back. So you have about 45 seconds. First, non-natural polymers were designed to supply the military for military-related purposes, or were they for saving the elephants?
Ooh,
All right.
I love this question.
All right, we're on to Paperboy.
Yes.
Hamsterlicious says, trick question, it was to militarize elephants.
That would have been.
I didn't know that. That's the plot twist behind that was just amazing. All right, we're on to Paperboy. This is another Nintendo classic. One of the early games, and the goal of this game is to
throw papers at the subscribing houses that you see behind my head.
Do you want Game Genie or no?
Probably. This can be a rage game.
All right, we're gonna do infinite lives and infinite papers. And there you go.
Right.
All right, Justin. So the question was, first non-natural polymers were designed to supply the military or save the elephants. Which one was it?
It was to save the elephants. And I'll tell the story.
Hamsterlicious, thank you for the sub. 1 month tier 2 sub to Ninja Physics. Ninja Physics, you got the OSHA emote. And so thank you, Hamsterlicious, and Ninja Physics. Enjoy that. Yeah, thank you very much. You're paying beer money. We really appreciate any support we get to the channel. Also tonight you paid for limes. So Justin had a rider in his being a guest and Ask a Scientist. He wanted Corona with a lime associated with it. And so, yeah, he demanded 30 limes picked this morning, cut specific way for his Corona. So thank you for your support.
That is not true.
I'm making up all of that. But either way, we appreciate your support. And yeah, thank you very much. All right. So Justin, back to the prediction. First non-natural polymers were designed to...
Save elephants.
Save the elephants.
Yes. So...
The pessimists lost on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of a circular story, right? Because nowadays plastics are having such a detrimental effect on life. But yeah, I mean, so
I think if you break the window, you lose this.
Oh, that's what I just thought was the point of the game.
No,
just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Get it on their yard. Love that it was for the elephant. So yeah, origin story of plastics.
Yeah, I mean. The truth is that the human population over time has never really decreased by averages, right? I mean, we're just getting more and more people on the earth that need more and more things. And it used to be that the people that got cool materials in the world, they got them all from natural sources. And wherever those cool sources were found, well, those were the... either animals or trees or whatever components that would suffer. And so really in the mid 1800s to late 1800s, billiards was becoming this extremely popular game among kind of the wealthy class, and everybody wanted a billiards table. And the primary component used to make billiard balls was ivory. I mean, there was really no material that did a billiard ball quite as well as ivory. People would relish over that crack that it would make and all that. But it turns out that we really, as humanity, put elephants in danger because of the level of ivory that was going into the need for billiard balls and whatever else ivory was being made of. And just remember, there's no plastic. So things like dolls, things like statues maybe or relics in the house, things like combs.
80% of your subscriptions.
Yeah, I mean,
the ones that are blinking you let down and they canceled their subscription to your service.
That's good. That's good, right?
Yeah, no, it's fine. Infinite lives, we're okay. Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, I mean, orating a good story and Paperboy are
no, they're contentious issues.
Watch this. I'm going to orate the rest of it and have a perfect go of it here. All right. Okay, so I don't need those newspapers, right?
No. Okay. You have infinite.
Damn tired. Okay. So what happened was, when they started finding out about massive depopulation of the elephants in the areas that elephants lived, there was like a New York-based company, I think it was a billiards company, that put out a newspaper ad and was offering this grand prize of like $10,000 for somebody that could synthesize an alternative to ivory that could be used as a billiard ball. And then this is where I believe his last name is Hyatt, George Hyatt, I think it was his name. Was experimenting
tornado.
Tornado. Katrina. No.
You did it.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
He was experimenting in his garage and he started, adding different things to just wood pulp. And he created this material that he called celluloid, and it was called that because it's like a derivative of cellulose, is wood pulp. And it was a really nice replacement for billiard balls. And there's still a rumor about whether or not he actually got that monetary prize for that creation. But I mean, it was such a big deal. The use of celluloid became popular not just for billiard balls, but it also became a way that people were making brushes, and different other material items out of something that was plentiful. And so it was a real success story as far as polymer science stepping in and making a material for the people material needs or desires, I guess in many cases as well, to prevent us from having to go to finite natural resources or finite animal populations to obtain those materials. So that's how polymer science sort of started. And I like to tell that story because of the situation that we're sort of in now, with the fact that we've, again, grown in population, grown in our material need. Oh man. That one was going fast.
Sideswiped by a motorcycle. Brutal.
I would argue that the biggest problem that we have nowadays isn't just plastics. It's our need for the material items and also our growing need for convenience, which is a big part of it. Throwing things away and using them once is hugely time-saving and convenient, but that behavior comes at a price, and some material is going to provide that, whether it's a plastic or an elephant tusk. Or whatever. So I think that is a major issue that needs to come to a head at some point, is just a natural desire for people to slow down, reuse, recycle if possible, but mostly just waste less. And it will forever be a problem if we don't stop doing that. So that's my gist there.
All right. So plastics to save the elephants. Skeptics to support the military is a completely understandable answer, because a lot of things have been developed to support the military.
Right.
And the military, no doubt, uses plastics a lot. But yeah, save the elephants, make billiard balls. It's an awesome prediction. So it's split 4-4 actually, so equal each way.
The military was responsible for the boom in synthetic plastic.
They took it from there.
Yeah, they did. I mean, when you go to war with countries that have the elephants or have a lot of the interesting resources that make materials, then you're stuck with the need to make those materials for more purposes than just saving the animals, right? And so, the world wars really, I think catalyzed the development of synthetic polymers. But the original purpose of synthetic polymers was to try and do good, right? So.
All right, so Ninja Physics has requested a factoid.
Okay, factoid. All right, let me just look at my list here and I can remember them. So I like two. I'm going to tell you two recycling factoids that I think are important to know, that a lot of people I realize don't know. One is that recycling is a very low income industry. And the reason that a lot of the send it to the landfill. But one of the main reasons is because the plastics that go to the landfill are not very compatible with other plastics. And so, you have those recycling symbols, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 means it's a grab bag of anything, or 7. 6 or 7. 7. And so if you mix 1 and 3, it makes a terrible material. And so what recycling centers have to do is they have to segregate each individual type of plastic that goes to the recycling center so that they can all be sort of melted down with only their type of plastic together. And if it doesn't, it creates a material that's often a lot more brittle and has much worse material properties than the original material did. So there's a challenge with the recycling process. How do we get plastics either to be more similar for recycling, or how do we segregate?
So we actually have a prediction tied to that question.
Great.
So let me pop that one up right now. I don't remember if you answered this in your question. If you did, free points for someone. But we're going to pop up a prediction, imaginary internet points. Let's spend them on this. From 1950 to 2015, what percent of plastic was recycled? Greater than 10% or less than 10%? So this is presumably all plastics through that entire interval, post-World War II to modern day. What percentage of plastics were actually recycled? Less than 10%, more than 10%?
Ah, these skaters, they always get me.
Stamp skaters. All right, in the meantime, while that question's going, actually I'll pop it up again. You have about a minute and 30 seconds between 1950 and 2015. What percent of plastics were actually recycled? Recycled in a functional way. Presumably that means melting them down and
sent to the recycling center. Actually gotten by the recycling centers.
So not just reused in a household or something.
Yeah.
Actually made it to a recycling center.
Yeah.
Process.
What happened to them is a whole nother story.
Okay, so this is what percent actually made it to a recycling center.
Yeah, we're acted upon to try and be recycled.
All right, so somebody wanted them to be recycled. They did actions to make that happen. What percent of plastics were recycled in that case? So I think as long as you still have one subscriber, you keep playing. So as long as you have one house that you're saving, you can keep going.
That's my target goal, is just to pick one person in this neighborhood and keep them happy, and then hit every other one down.
But if you keep them happy, you get additional subscribers. All right, 30 seconds left. Again, if you're not following, click the follow button, get your 300 standard internet units, and spend them on questions like, from 1950 to 2015, what percent of plastic made it to a recycling center? Was either dropped off in a recycling can or was taken directly to a recycling center? Did you collect cans as a kid?
I did for a very brief period of time. Yeah. There was the goat or something like that. It was like a machine that you could throw them into.
Yeah.
And it somehow counted them and threw out a couple of quarters or something. Yeah.
Why is the Grim Reaper casually standing on the sidewalk? That's an important question. Answer, Justin.
I think it's the same reason that tornadoes just pop up on this sunny day out of nowhere. It's just chaos.
Yeah. The self-driving lawnmower in 1985.
Yeah.
All right, 1950 to 2015, what percent of plastic made it to a recycling center? Less than 10%, greater than 10%? What's the answer, Justin?
It is 9%.
Oh, just under 10%. So less than 10%. Congratulations. Enjoy your standard internet units. So you gave some notes here. So over that time interval, there was 6,300 megatons of plastic waste produced. And so 12% was incinerated, 79% accumulated in landfills, and then 9% made it to a recycling center.
Yep. And 76 in landfills and or the environment. So unfortunately, not all of it makes it to the landfill because of the sort of the temperament of plastics. They are lightweight. They're revered for being that, but at the same time, if thrown in the back of a pickup truck and not given any thought to wind, they might fly out of the back of it and go into the environment.
Megatons. That
Megatons
is a metric.
Is a lot.
I mean, it's a bulk of our recent materials. Like, plastics are everywhere. Most of what we're touching right now is literally plastics, except for our beer bottles.
Yeah.
So, yeah, megatons. That number is probably even much larger now. All right, so I missed a question at one point. This is from Microfluidic. If you could make any polymer you wanted, what would it be? Even if it's not chemically possible.
Well, I'm going to say it's chemically possible.
Pause before we go into this. Ninja Physics has a factoid. Apparently you ingest a credit card's worth of plastic every week.
That seems a little bit excessive, but I know that you do ingest plastic.
A credit card's worth. From water and food, that's a lot of plastic. I mean, I guess if it gets past...
well, I filter my water, so I'm pretty sure I get a lot of, microplastics out through the filtration process, if they're in there.
Yeah. Good to know.
But, I've been known to, go overboard on, the Big Mac bite and get some of the plastic covered paper on there and don't care, just kind of go with it.
So the answer is 0.0001% of the polymer made it to Justin's stomach.
Yeah.
It's maybe a little more zeros on that. All right, back to microfluidics question. If you could make any polymer you wanted, what would it be, even if it's not chemically possible?
So I'm going to say that it's chemically possible, but just not yet. And I've been really interested in this idea. And it's actually taking a lot of ground in research nowadays. There's been this new notion, right, that when you make a plastic, it's sort of forever. And if you wanted to degrade it, you've got to use ridiculously brute force methods like combustion, like burning it like fuel, right? And the reason is because a lot of the plastics that are made very well. So once they're made, they are stable, they're chemically resistant, they're not going anywhere. So there's this new sort of concept called chemical recycling to monomer. Monomer means one unit. So polymer, meaning many units, is made out of many monomers. And so really, monomers are the feedstock, the starting origin chemical that makes the plastic. So the idea, which is sort of new thinking in the area of research, but almost like a duh moment when it comes to thinking about this, is to solve a problem with recycling, you could take a plastic and unpolymerize it or deplasticize or turn it back into the original monomers that was used to make it. And then you can collect those monomers, go back to the polymerization facility and turn it into a pristine plastic. So it's a very circular economy type of concept. But the problem is still going to remain that you're going to need to get an infrastructure in place where people know what these polymers are, send them to the appropriate place to be recycled back into monomer. But I hope that there's going to be a day where we sort of get a real organized type of perspective on polymers and allow that type of circular economy to exist. It's going to be just game changing because we can have our fun and eat it too, right? We can have all the plastics that we need for all these very good applications, and there are very many applications that plastics are better for than other things. But we just need to figure out a way to stop them from accumulating so much in the environment. Yeah.
Spider Yen says hi.
Hi.
Hi, Ken. Hi, Dr. Kennemur. I don't know if you remember my student Yen Zhao, but
I do remember Yen.
That is her. She stops by and
hi,
says
Yen.
hi.
Good to hear from you.
Yen is working industry, making the big bucks.
Making more than us, I'm sure, actually.
True, but is she playing Paperboy while talking science?
She is not.
Maybe she is.
If she was, she probably has a lot more subscribers than I do right now.
No worries. I mean, we've visited some classic games on this channel.
I think I do better when I'm going at full speed. Let's just try this.
Just commit. How many houses do you have still?
Yeah, this is the secret.
What day are you on? I think you have to survive 1 week, right? That's how you win this?
I think that's right, yeah.
But again, it's great to see you on chat. We're about to get I'm about to, well, Yen as well, to get our first book chapter published. It's kind of fun. Yeah, we got
that's
an
a
invite
monumental feat.
Yeah, we wrote a chapter on electrically coupled up conversion solar cells. So we can say we wrote a portion of the book on it. So that's pretty exciting. But those cheap bastards, we do all this work voluntarily. They will give the two of us one copy of the book. And the other one has to buy it. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's fine. We can get it through the university. But still, come on.
That's disappointing. All right, we're doing fast mode Paperboy. I've decided that this is the method here.
You just need one house. There it is. Now just speed run it.
Oh, in your face, biker.
All right. Reese's Pieces wants to know, would Dr. Kennemur deliver more papers if his subscribers were journal reviewers? Oh, man. So some of those papers would go through Windows. That's for sure. That's
true. And that dog is reviewer 3 most of the time. Yeah, so I think I've had the gamut with journal reviewers. I've had reviews that have been just incredibly insightful and made the paper much better. Pointed me to a couple of papers that I had just never come across, really opened my eyes to some other ideas that I hadn't considered for the results that we got. And so for all of you future reviewers, just know that it's okay to be, critical and like, but try to do it in a constructive way. Because we do appreciate that. But I've had other reviewers that just seem to be having a bad day. And I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just too close to their turf or whatever. But
the worst one by far is when they review the paper they wanted to see and not the paper in front of them. Like they wanted you to take it a different route and you didn't, and like they're upset about that. It's like, that's not actually reviewing the paper. That's critiquing the science or something.
Yeah.
It's such a non-constructive. Yeah. So don't be a jerk is generally good reviewing advice. Man. Oh man, so many confrontational. So this week I had one that it's such a, I shouldn't be upset about this, but I am. But we got an invite to write a perspective for ACS Applied Materials and Interfaces, and it's perspective on up conversion in solar cells. And so it's all opinion, and here's where the field is and where it's going. And we got 2 reviewers said accept as is. So I was like, all right, we're gonna get the rare triple accept as is. Reviewer 3 had 2 comments, and neither of those comments changed the paper in any way, but they still said minor revision. So I missed the accept as is.
That's a pretty good outcome regarding
it is, and we didn't have to change the paper, but it's like I've never had one accepted as is. Like I thought that was going to be it.
I think I've only handed out one accept as is in my history of a reviewer.
Yeah.
Minor revisions is pretty par for like my best review, and it's usually because there's always one little thing that you can find that could improve it a little bit, right? Yep. Sometimes it's just the quality of an image, right? Or something simple like that. Like, hey, figure 2's got kind of a low resolution quality. Can you?
So I've actually talked to editors about those types of comments. You should still do as accept as is, but add that comment anyway.
Okay.
And so that gets it through the process, and they can change it at proofs or whatever revision stage.
Yeah.
And so that's
Okay, that's good to know.
That makes everyone's life easier because you don't have to do a re-review.
Good to know.
Hamsterlicious. I actually had a course where our professor was teaching us to review articles. That's awesome. Super useful. I was generous with the paper, and his response was, did you even read the paper? It was complete garbage, and you should review it as such. Harsh. I re-reviewed it and was brutal. His response was great. Perfect review. I don't know if that was the most constructive teaching scenario. Because you can be harsh, but do it in a constructive way. Like, it doesn't have to be confrontational.
Yeah.
Like, I had a review recently that was like, I can't believe the authors missed a nitrogen in this structure. Like, just say, I think you're missing a nitrogen in the structure rather than judging us for missing it. Like, there's ways to do it diplomatically, and don't be an asshole. So, yeah.
I mean, I've reviewed some really unacceptable papers in its current form, right? And that's usually how I go about saying it. It's like, in its current form, it's going to need some work. Mm-hmm. But, you always have to remember that behind every one of these papers is a student that worked really hard, right?
Some grad student that this is their first set of reviews.
Yeah, and you have an opportunity to sort of build them up, right? With criticism, but build them up, or just crush them, which I think some people do, and I don't understand really why, right? So, yeah.
So the first paper I ever published, or first paper in graduate school that I ever published was, my favorite review of all time was, it was something like, this paper should be reviewed by a native English speaker. What are you trying to say? I can't speak English? I'll never forget that comment. That was absolutely perfect.
Oh no. I ruined the neighborhood.
Oh, did it? You lost all of them?
It says, yep, I retired. But I did get the whatever that high score is.
All right. I think you can put your name in.
It'll be rad.
All right, anyone just joining us, welcome to Ask a Scientist Gaming. Combining mediocre gameplay with expert level science. Our guest today is Justin Kennemur, who's a polymer chemist, knows all things plastics, polymers, synthetic organic chemistry. He's happy to answer any of your questions. Also, shameless plug, we've been talking about it for several weeks and months now, but we officially have a Discord for Ask a Scientist Gaming. Come join us on the Discord in between our streams. We try to do every 2 weeks. You guys can check out the schedule. You can see information about the next guest. You can post comments. You can give us feedback, give us ideas of what we should do with the stream in terms of channel points, in terms of bots we should have on the stream, whatever you guys might have to say. Join us on Discord, and yeah, we'll have fun there. And we also have channels for science, gaming, memes, whatever you want to post. Yeah, let's hang out outside of Ask a Scientist Gaming. So there's the link in chat, so click that.
Hey, let's ask that question about the billiard ball.
Ooh, we got a prediction. All right,
prediction.
All right, we got 2 predictions left. This is probably a good time to do it. All right, throwing that in there. All right, standard internet units, time to spend them again. We got 2 minutes to answer this question right here. If you're not following, click the follow button, get your 300 standard internet units, and guess an answer and or know the answer on the following question. And that question is, how many macromolecules in a billiard ball? So we just talked about replacing elephant tusks with polymer chemistry, essentially. And so there's a polymer that makes up billiard balls, a standard billiard ball. How many molecules, macromolecules, polymer chains are there in a standard billiard ball?
Yeah.
And this is a specific type of billiard ball. I think you had a label on it previously.
We're going to do our first ever, Ken, are you ready for this? Our first ever actual physical example proposition question.
We have...
Here's the billiard ball. This is an old billiard ball. I had to find this on like eBay or something like this. This is made out of Bakelite. So this is sort of the material that replaced celluloid for billiard balls. So there was celluloid that didn't have really a good lifetime. So Bakelite came along and replaced it. How many molecules are in this Bakelite billiard ball? Macromolecules.
Ninja says kudos on the 9-ball. Classic 9-ball play.
That was my baseball number.
Oh, nice. It's all coming together tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Full circle.
So yes, we have polymers invented to replace billiard balls and save the elephants. We have bases loaded and Justin's baseball number. You guys have about 45 seconds. Jarrett Castle, thank you for the follow. Spend your internet units guessing on whether the number of macromolecules in a billiard ball is greater than 100,000 or less than 100,000. Throw your guesses in there now. It's a fun one. It's all tying together, Justin. Well done. And we're about to hit the 10 o'clock mark.
Nice.
You've been gaming for 2 hours. When was the last time you gamed for 2 hours?
Well, my thumb right here is telling me that it's been a while. Because I'm mashing on some left and right movement here on this Paperboy, but
it's definitely a skill set. All right, so the submission is closed. Justin, what is the number of macromolecules in a billiard ball?
So when I first heard the answer to this question, it blew my mind. It was probably in my early days of polymer science when I started to really take a shine to it. The number of macromolecules in this pool ball is one macromolecule, which is outrageous if you think about it, because of the disproportionate, the discrepancy in size between atoms and holding something in your hand. But it's a very important concept to learn about polymers, is that there's the 2 types that I've been talking about. The one that's called a plastic, that's the one that's moldable, meltable, re-injectable, and recyclable. And then there's this other type of polymer that I haven't really talked much about yet called a thermoset. So Bakelite is a thermoset polymer, and you can think of thermosets like eggs. They start off as liquid monomer, but once you cure them into a solid or cook an egg, you're never going to remelt the egg. You're just going to heat it up to the point where it just burns or decomposes. Okay, so thermosets have this property because they do a process known as cross-linking. So you can think of cross-linking like the difference between a bowl of single strands of yarn and a bowl of one tennis net. Okay, A tennis net is a bunch of macromolecular chains sort of woven together in this kind of grid pattern, creating one large macromolecule. A tennis net you could think of as one large molecule, right? It's all interconnected through all the squares and everything. Whereas a bowl of yarn is a bunch of individual loose polymer chains that with enough energy you could pull apart, right? So a thermoset plastic or Bakelite, which was one of the most prominent first thermosets ever, is one total cross-linked tennis net of a molecule. That's the answer.
So the question of number of macromolecules in a billiard ball, the answer is less than 100,000 by a lot. The answer is one-ish.
One.
That is pretty amazing. So yeah, one polymer chain. Spider Yen, do you have a Reddit page? No, we don't, for Ask a Scientist Gaming. I don't know how much that would be trafficked, but you should join the Discord and drop a line, introduce yourself, ask questions of upcoming guests if you can't make the stream. Share memes about science. There's some up there already. Share science, interesting science factoids. We're always excited to share information with everyone. So yeah, join us on the Discord channel. All right, Hamsterlicious. I really don't know anything about plastics, but I've been wondering what prevents us from just cooking all plastics down to some basic base structure for repurposing. I'm talking just from a purely thermodynamic perspective, like
Yeah.
burning it down to atoms.
Right. So, I mean, so let's think about the difference between octane, our car fuel, and polyethylene.
So it's 10 o'clock. Do you want to keep paperboying or?
We can change over to something different. I can't remember what we have next. The
NARC.
Oh, we want to do that? Do we want a 1 hour NARC it?
It's up to you.
Does that game require an hour?
It depends. Are we doing the both versions?
We can.
All right.
I'm down for anything. My left and right movement is getting a little bit sore here anyway.
Okay. Well, NARC is all left and right, so let's do it.
Yeah.
Ready for this?
I am ready for this. And
All
then
right,
I'll get to
ladies
this.
and gentlemen, we are closing out the night as usual with NARC. It's the game that shows we've both lost and won the war on drugs. Ninja Physics, it's a surprise for later. I'll bring that up. But yeah, NARC, I don't know why we started this as a tradition at Ask a Scientist Gaming, but here it is, NARC.
Pretty sure that's an illegal license plate on that Porsche.
No, but it's Nancy Reagan would be proud. Just say no.
I always thought I just said ho. Just say ho. Is that no? Oh, man.
The arcade version, yes. All right. Justin, it is all yours.
All right. I'm taking up this controller now too, right?
Nope, this one still.
Oh, this one's still. We're doing the NES version. That's right. Okay. Okay. Remind me again what there was a question that someone had asked. Right?
Yes. Yeah. That question was basically burning it down to atomic structure. Why can't we just decompose polymers to base units?
Right. Yeah. So we can't ever really controllably. This actually goes back to that chemical recycling to monomer that I was talking about before. We can't controllably decompose polymers to any one specific thing, except in extreme environments, CO2 and water, like combustion, right? That's the most aggressive way that you can decompose a polymer, and it's often the way that it's done. CO2 isn't really looked at as the best byproduct to make. What am I doing wrong with this? How did you say you duck again?
It's holding B or
okay.
Yeah, it's hold or tap are
okay.
Two options.
There we go. So turning polymers into specifically one or two chemicals of value is difficult. Do I have unlimited rockets or no?
Nope.
Okay.
But when you die, you get new rockets, so don't worry.
That's why there's a lot of finesse in the idea of chemical recycling to monomer, because you're purposefully doing a chemical reaction on the material that's making it into something specific, and more importantly, something specific that you can reuse or return into the plastic. So, yeah, and that's the long story short. So we burn octane, right? And it turns into combustion. It turns into CO2 and water, typical combustion. Well, polyethylene is like octane connected together about 100,000 times. So octane is 8 carbons, polyethylene is somewhere on 1 million maybe. And it's the same material. It's the same chemical composition. It's just the size of the molecule that's ridiculously different. So, you can't really burn octane into butane very easily. You get usually just CO2 and water from that.
I think the answer is you can do it. It's hard to do something with it when you get it out.
Right.
Polymerizing CO2 is not trivial.
Yeah. So if you turn something into 17,000 different chemicals, which you potentially, oh yeah, there's a little arrow right there. If you turn something, I was wondering why those guys kept coming. If you turn something into 17,000 different chemicals, and then you've got to basically purify 17,000 things away from one another, and that can be expensive, and obviously that's not going to work, right? So.
All right, anyone just joining us? We have Justin Kennemur, polymer chemist, organic chemist, synthetic chemist. Happy to answer any questions you have about plastics, sustainability, turning biomass into polymers. He can answer those questions. He's also playing NARC. This is a terrible game from 1988 about the war on drugs, and you are playing, do you know what the name of your character is in this?
They had ridiculous names,
yes.
And I don't remember what his name, like, I keep wanting to say Duke Nukem, but that's actually a different game.
Yeah.
But it's something like that.
His name is Max Force.
That's right.
Max
Force, Duke Nukem. I mean, there you go.
Physicist in the channel, that is for you. We are playing with Max Force on a on.
All right, I'm getting the hang of this
NARC.
now. Getting the hang. I've been ducking the whole time for no reason because I thought I was ducking underneath their bullets, but that's just not the case.
I can't remember the second player's name. I should have looked that one up. But yeah, Max Force, fighting the war on drugs, train dogs to defend drug dealers. Yeah, this is quality gameplay right here. You're going to the right. Basically, this whole game is going to the right except one level. Aptly named. Yes, that name is on point.
What, can we get an update to the FSU softball score?
Good question. I can search that. We have one more game tomorrow at 3 p.m., so it looks like they lost.
All right. Well,
going right, literally and figuratively, yes. That's how you win the war on drugs.
Oh, I just got hit by a rocket.
Oh, it's not a rocket. It's a syringe.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's right. Am I going to start tripping here in a second?
No, I think that's the extent of the trick.
Just slows you down a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
just slows you a little.
Oh, man. Oh. Wish my students in the lab could throw syringes this accurately.
That's true. And who are these people giving away free drugs? Hamsterlicious, you're right. Heroin to go. You don't have to pay for it. They're just going to dump it on you.
Oh, man.
Like, so it's been scientifically demonstrated that the DARE program is a complete bust. Like, it actually increases drug use. And it's because they tried to, like, demonize all drugs and make all drugs seem the same. And, like, marijuana is not the same as heroin. And then when kids, like, try marijuana, they're okay trying heroin because it's all the same, right? But, I mean, one of the things I learned from DARE is that everyone's just going to walk around offering you drugs. And that's not the way life works. Drugs are expensive and people don't give them away for free. So, just a complete bust. DARE did not prepare me for people throwing darts of heroin at me walking down the street. No, you're right. So unrealistic. What? Ninja Physics. Fun fact. I was asked to participate in a sting operation for DARE by trying to buy cigarettes at 12 years old. Jesus Christ. Like, so much time. I gave a talk at one point where I complained about the war on drugs and how much it cost. And it's over $3 trillion or something like that. And it's doing stuff like that, getting a 12-year-old to buy cigarettes so you can bust someone and really bring down the system. That is crazy.
Why is my gun going at like half speed now? Oh, is it because of the drugs?
You ran out of bullets.
Oh.
So if you get down to 0 bullets, it takes time to refresh.
Oh.
So you might as well... Do you have the blue card? Try the door. You might have it already. That's just insane.
This door?
Yeah. Or try the blue card thing, see if you can touch it. No. So you gotta kill people till you find a blue card.
Is that it right there? Okay.
Nice.
Blow them to smithereens.
All right. Spider-Yen wants to know, in real-life production, will there be a lot of byproducts in the process of making polymers? And how do you purify the products?
Say that one more time?
In the real-life production, presumably like actual industrial scale, will there be a lot of byproducts in the process of making polymers? And how do you purify the products?
Oh, no. I mean, they've gotten fantastically good at making a lot of the commodity plastics in a exceptionally pure way. So ethylene, for example, is a gas. Propylene is a gas. And other ones are liquids. So styrene can be a little bit more dirty than ethylene and propylene. But no, I mean, they pump basically ethylene gas through these reactors with these catalyst beds that are beds. They don't mix in with the ethylene. So it's just ethylene going into a catalyst situation and then coming out as a molten fluid polymer that when it cools becomes a hard plastic. So it's a really clean process. And again, clean means cheap a lot of time for industry. So that's one of the reasons why it's sort of very hard for us to create new plastics that industry will adopt to any large mass production type of extent because of just how well they've managed to learn how to make it.
You jump in. There you go. So believe it or not, Justin has played this game before. You're fairly sure you have. Right?
I know I've played this game before. I didn't see that dumpster fire coming. What is that?
I think they are actually dumpster, like garbage can.
I wanted to blow it up. Landmines.
But anyway, you had a very particular story about you playing this game as a kid.
Oh yeah, this game immediately had a reputation to it that was circulated among all the moms that were getting a little bit concerned about video games and how much we were playing them and all that. So this game, because of the drug implications, because of a little bit of the violence and all this other stuff, and then of course, being one of the first that did this to that extent, was on the banned list. For me being able to have it, right? So, and a lot of my friends as well. It wasn't just me. Let me blow this up. Can't remember.
You can jump over it.
Oh yeah. So everyone had that one friend whose parents either didn't care or just didn't know. What's NARC mean? It's like Nerf, but like with a C. Oh, that's fine, right? So one of my friends, he became a lot of people's friends. Got the game, and he had we had like a big sleepover at his house, and we all played it. But I didn't get a lot of play time, and he wasn't really a good friend, so it wasn't like a constant thing where I went over his house and played it. But I did officially play this game back in the days when it had all the hype. Right?
I didn't play this when it first came out. I played it when it was like dollar bin because it's not great gameplay. Like
no, it's frustrating. These dogs
hard to handle. It doesn't look great, but yeah. But yes, Mom, it is true. Video games rotted my brain. Spider-Yen says you should watch The Wire, talking about the war on drugs. It's a great show. I do need to go watch The Wire. I have not seen The Wire, but I've heard it's pretty spectacular.
It is a really good show.
War on drugs.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
A war on drugs, but The Wire is so much deeper too. I mean, it's about kind of the criminal justice system and some problems and the issues that are faced between low income neighborhoods and it's just it's a good show that really went right in your face with problems. I think it's in Baltimore. I think that's where it was based. So.
All right, Justin, one of the crowd favorite questions. If you had unlimited resources and no moral qualms, what experiment / study would you do? Or what measurement would you make? What research center would you set up? So to give you context, we had someone say they wanted to put ankle monitors on people and send a hurricane at a city. We had a developmental psychologist that wanted to separate twins at birth. Josh Melko wanted to blow up the moon. So if you had unlimited resources and no moral qualms, what scientific question would you like to answer and or problem would you like to solve?
Man, that's a loaded question. I think this game actually knows what a loaded question that was. It just put me in this void of people. No. There's no one there anymore.
I think you're supposed to be driving a car right now.
Oh, does it not progress without the car?
Just keep going. Yep. You just walk it out.
Man, I missed out on driving a car. So this isn't for like a vote or anything, right?
No. This is just whatever comes to mind.
For the sake of like a brutally long pause on me giving you any answers, let's pause this for a second, and let me, I can think about 2 things, 3 things, 4 things at once. So let me think about it. I'll get back to you.
All right.
Because I want to give a good one here because it's just such a very open-ended question.
Yeah, no pressure.
I feel pressure.
I'd like to hear Ken's answer.
The ankle monitoring with the hurricane was such a fantastic answer that I feel pressure now.
Oh man, what's amazing is how fast that answer came to him. He's probably thought about it before, but I don't know. I mean, he's a data scientist, right? He tracks migration with storms and climate change, and that's the ultimate data set you'd want, right? Makes perfect sense. All right, so we'll switch to a different one. What's the biggest mistake or accident you've seen in lab?
Oof, yeah, mistake, and thankfully not accident. I did it. A lot of accidents and mistakes that you don't do in lab, you don't really see. They usually happen when you least expect them. So that's what we always preach in safety, is that you're never expecting an accident. And certainly you need to keep the other people in the lab in mind. I'll point at myself on this one. We did a technique a lot for polymerizations called freeze pump thaw. It's a method where you need to remove oxygen or air, just basically ambient air from the reaction, because it will mess with your ability to make the polymer correctly. Okay, so what we typically do is we take the liquids and we freeze them in liquid nitrogen, and then we pump out all the gas with high vacuums. And since we froze the liquids, they don't boil out of the flask. Okay. The problem is that liquid nitrogen is colder than the temperature at which argon will condense into liquid. So when I was a postdoc, what we would do is we would do this freeze pump thaw, and at the thaw step we would backfill it with argon, because argon is an inert gas and we don't have to worry about it messing with our polymerizations. Well, it was just one of those days where we were just kind of chatting, me and my lab partner, we were chatting in the lab, and I was kind of just not paying attention. And what happened is I did the pump part. No, I'm sorry. I did the thaw procedure while it was still frozen. So I added argon to the flask while I had liquid nitrogen.
Oh, brutal.
And so just because I was kind of talking and we were having a conversation about something important, I just wasn't on my A game paying attention. And so then, the stage after pump is to actually thaw, right?
Exit. You got it.
Yes. Nice. So when you thaw, you're warming everything up back into a liquid.
In a closed system.
In a sealed flask, right?
Yeah.
So if you've condensed liquid air, or liquid argon in the flask, it very much turns into an explosive, because it becomes a very pressurized gas inside that flask. And so luckily, the area on the flask that failed was the cap, which isn't quite always the case. These flasks are designed what they call to be pressure vessels. So the caps are have a high integrity, and usually the way that they fail is that you just have an explosive hand grenade like flask explosion. But I was standing there talking, and it was in the thaw step, and I heard this just kind of sounded like someone let out a balloon, you know, right, like that. And I knew that was bad. Something had just happened that wasn't supposed to. And by the time I had figured it all out, I mean, it could have been really bad. It could have been just like fragments of glass all over the place in my cheeks. And, you know, I was really good with safety. I had safety jacket on. I had lab glasses on. So, I don't think I would have lost my eyes or anything, but I probably would have like a piece of glass somewhere in my forehead or something that would, create a scar.
It's a related factoid. I don't know if you know this. Barry Sharpless, Nobel Prize winner, he lost an eye to an incident like that. He's basically looking up at a glass tube, and it warmed up and made enough pressure, the tube just burst, and so shrapnel went directly into his eye. So he, as an assistant professor, right after he started at MIT, he lost one of his eyes.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, that's one of the common. I hate to say that it's common, but
so go in that door right there.
This one, adult books.
Yep.
I wonder why my mom didn't want me to buy this.
Was it the drugs or was it the adult books?
I'm pretty sure there was the one parent that played it all the way through and loved it, but then reported about all the problems with it.
See, and that's the thing, is there are games that have this equivalent amount of shooting, but no drugs or prostitutes or whatnot, or XXX books, because the violence is fine in the United States.
Yeah.
As long as you're not showing any skin or not talking about drugs.
Must be out of missiles.
There you go. Oh, now you
What did I do?
You got to go to the end and go back. I hate this part of this. If you press up, you go back in the room, and now you have to go out.
I think one of my problems is I'm trying to kill everybody.
Yeah, it's not worth it. They keep coming back. So press up, but don't press too much up.
Ah.
Then go silver card right over there.
Oh, we're going left for a change.
Yep.
Did I go in the wrong door again?
The wrong door.
No way.
The card slot there. Oh, 3 Coronas in. This will do this to you. All right, anyone just joining us? Justin Kennemur in an infinite loop within the game NARC, trying to answer questions about polymers, plastics, renewables, whatever you want to do. Hamsterlicious, thank you for the 100 bits. Your support is always appreciated. Again, it paid for limes tonight, so we really appreciate your support. And we'll give some Venucci rage. So go to the card reader thing. Nope, right.
Get off me, clown.
Yeah, the clown with the knife.
I thought I did that. I don't know why I didn't open it the first time.
That merited some Venucci rage. Again, anyone just joining us, throw your questions in chat. Any questions you have for Justin Kennemur about polymers, plastics, whatever it might be, graduate school in chemistry. Yeah, feel free to throw your questions in there, and we're happy to answer. But I'll follow up with another question. What's the most expensive mistake you've seen?
Ooh, equipment is always the most expensive mistake.
Yep.
And it's almost always just a lack of someone asking a question. That anybody... So here's the thing. Instruments are like the organs of a laboratory, right? There's nobody in the lab that wants that instrument to go down, no matter how much they don't like you, right? So really, when an instrument is used improperly, it's either a problem with the training, but that's why we create standard operating procedures and training guides and all of that. So we hope to eliminate those issues. Or most of the times it's somebody just didn't want to bother another person, or got cocky or whatever.
This is the part you go left.
Oh my gosh.
Only one you go left.
Oh my gosh. Didn't even... Oh, Rambo got me. So yeah, I mean, it's always been an instrument, the most expensive one, and I don't have a specific one right off the top of my head, but Respect your instruments, people.
Yeah, exactly. They're hard to replace and they take time to replace. All right, so you got to kill some of the Rambo-looking guys to get a green card to leave this room.
All right, good.
Reese's Pieces says adult books, Advanced Organic Chemistry by Carrie and Sundberg. That's a pretty adult book.
Yes, that's the one I used in grad school. It's okay. I don't know. It's your classic, right?
Classic doesn't mean good. Yeah. From the sounds of it. I love the way those guys run. Like, it's the least functional run you could possibly do. You were nailing these.
I was gonna say, did you see that level of
that was
that level of
highlight.
I still didn't get the green card. Are you sure that's the guy I gotta kill? Maybe I gotta blow him up with a rocket.
Big spooky skeleton. I took a class called Advanced Organic Chemistry, but the textbook we used was called Intermediate Organic Chemistry.
Did you request some tuition?
That merits a false advertising. I've never been so shocked since the never-ending story ended. Like, what are they doing? So one of those guys will die and dissolve and create a green card.
Oh, it's probably that one I missed. I'm out of bullets.
Intermediate Organic Chemistry. I mean, it's all relative. The scariest books in grad school were always A Comprehensive Introduction to. That is a fair critique. So press up. Do you have the key? Nope. Still gotta kill him. Keep going.
I think I gotta blow one up with a rocket or something, man, because I put down a lot of these guys.
I think it's just random. They call it RNG, Random Number Generator.
This should have been the over-under.
Yeah, how long it'll take you to beat NARC. Yeah,
at least they're dropping bullets.
Yeah, that's true. They're refilling. Yeah. All right. Here's a fun one. What's your favorite equation?
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, so I think my independent career has redefined my favorite equation now, and that is the Gibbs free energy equation.
Really?
Such a fundamental equation, but it can be applied to equilibrium polymerization quite well. You combine it with the Van Hoff equation, and then you just add subscript P's, and you call it the Gibbs free energy of equilibrium polymerization. And everything that I talked about making a polymer and then turning that polymer back into monomer, the chemical recycling to monomer, everything about that concept relies on the Gibbs free energy equation. Very simple equation that you learn about as an undergrad.
General chemistry too.
Yep. And it's such a beautiful equation. It really is. And when you think about combining it with Le Chatelier's principle and all of the things that go into what affects it, like temperature, pressure, it just is a fun playground for polymerizations sometimes.
How do you not have the key yet?
I don't know, man.
Maybe you walk along the bottom. Maybe it fell where you can't see it or something.
I've hit a time warp in the game.
This game is so unrealistic.
Maybe I had to go to the right.
Gibbs free energy. That was actually Scott Stagg's answer.
Really?
I didn't ask him that question, and he was upset I didn't. But yeah, that was his answer as well. So protein folding chemist plus polymer chemist, Gibbs free energy is the go-to answer for a lot of people, because it turns out it's really important and useful.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, I got it. I think I got it.
Question from a photochemist. Do you have a favorite wavelength? That's interesting. Could be visible, could be X-rays. Could be gamma rays. Could be microwaves. So yeah, this whole building, you're just going to run to the right and go indoors. So now you're going to use all your passkeys.
All right. Needles. So... can't go into Fanny and Co. Yeah, I think, X-ray at the right angle is a pretty good one for me. With polymers, we often like to look at assembly properties and things at the small angle X-ray scattering angle. So everything I was talking about at the beginning of the broadcast with self-assembly of lithographic patterning, we can use small angle X-ray scattering to really probe not only the size but the morphology of the patterns. So yeah, let's go with that.
Wrong. The answer is 532. At least that's my answer.
What's that 532?
That's any green laser point you have is 532.
Okay.
And so it's the frequency doubled fundamental of neodymium YAG laser.
I got you.
And so neodymium YAG, it's 1064. And so if you double that energy or sum it together in a sub frequency, you get a 532. So that's the default for most neodymium YAG lasers. So, yeah.
So I got a question for you. So what is the most prominent wavelength of irradiation produced by solar energy, by the sun? I mean,
it's in the green region. I think it peaks out at that 500.
I was thinking that was before you explained why you chose that wavelength, I was thinking that was going to be your reason why. It's like the best wavelength for a solar cell to capture.
It is one of the peak I think it's in that range. I'll have to look at the solar spectrum. I think it peaks out in that area. So there's a spike at about, I don't know, 400. Between 400 and 550 is where it really peaks out. That depends if it's filtered or not. But yeah, mine was more practical. Because if you're going to pick a wavelength, you use 532 and a notch filter. And yeah, it's one of my favorites. Yeah, what's your favorite wavelength? Black body spectrum for G2V class star is green. Yeah, that makes sense. That's why plants are green.
All right.
Related to why plants are green. It's also why human vision peaks in the green region. Like, we're really good at distinguishing green colors, presumably because of our primate ancestry. So yeah. Ooh, a big spooky skeleton. Why does the sun produce white light and not just line spectra for H and HE?
That's all you can. You're the light guy. I mean, I know the answer, but you're going to be able to explain this way better than me.
Well, so it does produce the lines for H and HE, and then it's inherent. So you have hydrogen and helium, and it does transitions. But anytime you heat something up, it does something called black body radiation, where it's basically a broad spectrum depending on the temperature of the radiation. And so when you buy light bulbs now, they ask you for the temperature. And so like 3000 is going to be a yellowish color, 5000 or 6000 is going to be a white. And so it's due to black body radiation. And so it's basically anytime you heat up something, the sun is doing the same thing as a piece of iron. If you heat it up, it's emitting the same type of thermal light, basically. And that's why it's broad and not just line spectra. It's because the heating, not because of the transitions, but just because of the thermal light generated. So you got to shoot the guy in the wheelchair with a rocket.
Yeah, did I forget how to shoot a rocket?
Just tap.
I don't have any rockets. There's one.
No, you have them. You have 99 rockets. Tap them. There we go.
Oh.
There he is. Yes.
My tap has been like just a little bit too long.
Yeah.
This has been a big problem.
Oh, by the way, Justin, you're the first guest to play on the original Nintendo hardware. So I got a converter to go from a Nintendo outlet to a USB plug. And so you're playing on an actual Nintendo controller.
Wow. There he is.
Did he just worm out of there after he was shot? Yes, and there it is again. It just crawled.
But he didn't give me the gold card.
No, you got to shoot him once more because he's got to dissolve into a gold card.
Oh, well, you're gonna have to squat and shoot him when he's worming like that?
No. You just one more time, one more rocket shot. You got it. There it is. And now,
don't you do it? Don't you do it? Get away from me, dog.
And there we go.
Hoorah.
That's the most important question of the night. Did he just worm out of there after he was shot?
He totally wormed out.
Absolutely. All right, now you're off to the Mr. Big, the end bad guy of this game.
All right.
All right, so this...
Whoa! What is going on here?
Just a standard head mounted on a mobile platform shooting tongues at you.
Oh, it's pretty fast.
Yeah, no, it's really fast. So you have to jump and shoot rockets in his face.
Okay.
So jump and then tap the Yep, just like
I
that.
overjumped.
Get him in the glasses, and then he'll turn into a... Well, you'll see. Oh, Hamsterlicious has requested a factoid and requested that we take a drink.
I will happily do that.
Yeah, just
Because
doesn't matter.
Mr. Big is about to kill me.
So
Okay.
Cheers to everyone joining us for Ask the Scientist Gaming, 10:30 at night on a Wednesday. If you're on the East Coast, West Coast, good afternoon-ish, dinner time. But yeah, thank you all for joining us. It's a pleasure. It's really the audience that makes this go. We can only talk so long before we need questions and people providing feedback. So we really appreciate it. So cheers to everyone.
Thank you, Hamsterlicious. My thumb needed a break too. That was
all right. Now you're up.
holding
again.
the cold Corona bottle. It's like a good icing it down
You're
type
gonna
of
have
thing.
to go home and put your steak on your
I
thumb.
might, man. I think I mashed too hard on these things. Plus, the invention of the analog stick with the new controllers really prevented a lot of thumb damage for the future generations.
Probably a different type of damage.
Okay, here's a factoid. I gotta read this to get it right because I wanted to say this. So, this factoid comes from the dichotomy, if you will, that I've been kind of alluding to sometimes about the idea of sustainability and pick your poison. Okay, so the factoid is this.
Oh, there you go. Got his glasses off.
I got it.
Nice.
Oh man, he's all PO'd now.
The tongues.
Factoid is this. Okay. So, we make a lot of plastics, and incinerating them seems to be like a less than stellar option. But consider this. The fuel used, and this is, I'll give credit before I say this. This was a review article by a colleague, a friend at the University of Florida, Stephen Miller. In his article, he did this calculation. The fuel used to transport a Boeing 747 from Atlanta, Georgia to Athens, Greece is equivalent in mass as 23,000 water bottles per passenger. Okay, that is 366 passengers on an average Boeing 747 traveling from Athens, Georgia to Athens, from Atlanta, Georgia to Athens, Greece. And so really, we burn enough fuel. Man, this guy's aggressive.
Yeah, you got to get away from him. Yeah, rage.
He's faster than me.
Rage. Yeah.
Okay, I got him. Okay.
Okay, then turn around, jump shoot.
The A button is not always on point with the jump shoot.
Yeah.
This is frustrating.
No, it's a non-trivial boss. All right, so put things in perspective. That's
So yeah, it's sort of like an idea here that transport costs energy. It costs petroleum. It costs materials. Why aren't you jumping anymore?
tap, just tap.
All right, I'm gonna get him.
Oh, there it was.
But the whole adage, paper or plastic.
Maybe let run while you're.
The whole adage of paper or plastic, it comes down to that too. It's like there's always a give and take when it comes to one option or the other. Man, this guy is annoying.
Yeah, no,
this is really the most annoying boss I've ever faced. and one of the things that's annoying is the sensitivity of the look. You can't jump when he's spirit vomiting you in the face.
No, the tongues make this really hard.
This might come to a rage mode. Get your memes ready.
Oh no, they're already up. Some rage emotes. the chat is way ahead of you. We know the rage is coming. All right, there you go.
See that, dude? I'm putting this up on the screen because I'm just giving it a tap. If you do it in the first try, I'm gonna be upset.
Non-trivial though.
And then once he starts getting vomit crazy on you,
the tongues get you.
That's a tongue.
There you go.
See, it doesn't always fire off. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Oh god, he just unloads.
I feel a little bit better now because I thought you were going to go in and just nail them with 3 shots.
Spider-Yen has a question for you.
Okay, I'm taking over the. We're going to do this. If you could run your lab anywhere in the world, where would you go? Oh man, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, based off of places that I have been, I would say southern Italy is
there we
pretty
go.
darn nice.
All right.
You did it.
Yep. So now it's bullets on the spine. So you got to aim a little bit high.
Jesus. Okay.
Sorry, where would you go?
I'd say southern. Out of the places that I've been before,
Run. Use those iframes.
places that I've been before, southern Italy is quite a fantastic, beautiful area.
There you go. You're hitting him. You did hit him.
I know.
Southern Italy. Sabbatical.
Yeah, that's where like Naples, Mount Vesuvius,
Turn back
Pompeii.
now and go up higher if you can.
Oh, I think that worked.
So rockets don't do it. You need bullets on his spot.
Okay. Other really beautiful places would be the Black Hills, South Dakota. Not a lot of resources out there, but
yeah, so this is a good
I'm all
strategy.
about-
Bring him down and then run. So bring him down
yep.
and then run up and shoot back at him. Because you got to catch him. If you just go directly, you shoot him in the face. You got to shoot him up in the spine.
All right. Well, you got me.
All right. So you're saying
So the
Southern
question
Italy.
for me is this is how I'm thinking about this answer is a laboratory isn't like that different from place to place because it's indoors and it's environmentally controlled and it has to have hoods and all sorts of things. So unless you're talking about like in the International Space Station,
There you go. You got one of them. Nice. Another one. 2 vertebrae left.
ooh, he's getting harder. So
International
I
Space
would-
Station.
I
That's a
would
good
choose
choice.
places that yes, I did something special that have a good outside of the lab option, right? Because we all kind of need that time a little bit too.
Hamsterlicious, thank you for cheering that abomination. Good game. We need a Mr. Big emote. That is a terrible boss. Did you ever beat this as a kid? Probably not.
No, we never got
without
anywhere
cheats,
near
this is a
there.
disaster.
We never even got close to near there. I actually remember now being very frustrated at this game. We played it pretty much all night. Oh, and now I get a whole bunch of gold.
Yeah.
Great.
Ninja Physics, join the Discord and suggest an emote for Mr. Big. We have to have it related to something science, maybe tie it together. I don't know what Mr.
I
Big
don't
would.
No,
Maybe
it'd
NSF.
have to be some sort of
Maybe
tongue
NIH.
flying
Big.
at something.
All right. That is the end of NARC. You have won the war on drugs. Congratulations.
I did it.
It's 10:41. We still have 20 minutes, but you did
did
win
it.
the war on drugs.
Hey, beating that game, that's a big deal.
It's a victory. What do you feel better about, beating this or beating Contra?
This, because I really do remember this being just dumb after a while.
Oh, Max Force and Hitman. Hitman is the other name.
I'll do my actual initials for this. I'm so
Fun
proud.
factoid, if you put in ass, it doubles your score.
Are you serious?
Yes.
We got to do that. Has anybody else done that already?
I don't remember, honestly, but I tell people that every time.
Is this an
This is
ass? Oh no!
No! No! You let down the team. Oh. Oh
Epic
no.
fail.
Oh no.
Epic fail.
A for effort. You got it right, Ninja Physics.
That's perfect. That's a
All
good
right.
joke right there.
We got 20 minutes left. I have a special treat for everyone. Justin, are you ready to do
I
it?
am ready to do this.
All right. So
My thumb is ready to do this.
your thumb will recover. You don't have to play video games again for a long time. Oh man, are you guys ready? So I managed to track it down. There's a 2005 re-release of NARC, and it was for the GameCube. And so here is that version. It's the arcade version of it.
Nice.
We tracked down the 2005. Go ahead and press start. So originally NARC was an arcade game. It got ported to the NES. The original arcade game is this. So it was released for the GameCube on something called Midway Arcade Treasures 2. And so yeah, this is the arcade version of NARC. Exact same game, better graphics.
Yeah, and also, to be honest, I'm at better practice with the whole analog controller. Or am I saying that right?
Yeah.
The joystick analog?
Yeah. So yeah, Justin's using an Xbox controller to play a GameCube game. That's because that's what I have. I don't have a GameCube to USB converter. So.
Nice.
Yeah, use the rocket.
Hey, how did I busted that guy?
If you stand, I forgot to mention that. If you stand over them, you can bust them.
Oh.
But yeah, you have infinite lives and infinite rockets because it's extremely difficult.
All right, we're going in.
Yep, just keep going right. Where are you squat walking?
Because it looks cooler when you shoot a rocket from like the squat position. Watch. Meh. Yeah.
So this is the game that caused the controversy because this is like you see burnt corpses and you see body parts and yeah, this is what made your parents not let you buy this game. There you go, you busted a bunch of them. See, now you're arresting. That's not the max force I know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for anyone just joining us, this is insane gameplay by Justin Kennemur on NARC, the 2005 re-release of the arcade version of NARC. Justin is also happy to answer questions about polymers you have, anything, plastics and polymer-related organic synthesis. If you guys have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. But a follow-up to Yen's question about where you would go. Let's say you had like 2 years to learn, essentially start over grad school, 2 or 4 years to learn anything you wanted, changing directions of your research. What would you go after? I'm talking about you could go into biology, you could go into statistics, you could different branch of chemistry. If you had the flexibility and freedom to start something new, what would you do? I'm gonna run to the bathroom and I'll be back.
Yeah, I found a passion for a lot of different areas of science. I don't know. Sometimes I wish I could do more of an outdoor job. That would be probably, something that would be nice. I don't think I would choose it over chemistry because I didn't really find a passion for it. But, as I've gotten to the point now where I can travel a little bit more and see the world a little bit more, I've really just enjoyed it. So I would say, maybe something that would involve travel as a part of the job, even though the conferences technically do involve travel. You're usually traveling to like a convention center and not like out in the middle of nowhere. So, what would be a right profession for traveling? Man, this guy is brutal with the needles. All right, I'm just going to shoot rockets at everybody. Marine biology. That would be a fun one. Like go and scuba dive and see like all of the amazing nature underneath the water, which terrifies me and interests me at the same time. I landed on marine biology, but I can't remember the word for the study of cultures. Anthropology?
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
human
that's right.
cultures, not cell cultures.
Yes. Yeah, like this, like you go and like travel to like very remote places and learn about indigenous people and their beliefs and cultures. Yeah, anthropology I think would be a cool one because it would be a combination of traveling, but also going to places that are just like off the beaten path. I think that would be kind of cool to learn about that. Yeah, that'd be my answer.
Oh man, we only have 13 minutes left. We have one more prediction we're going to pop up here.
How many dogs can I blow up in 13 minutes?
Somebody want to count?
Under 1,000.
I don't think you actually kill them. I think they just shrink and run away. All right. We have one more prediction to throw up. Anyone? Imaginary internet points. If you're not following, click the follow button. Get your 300 standard internet units. You can bet on things. You can say take a drink. You can request a factoid. So we're going to throw up a prediction right now. So the question is,
Oh, that's the jump. Okay.
why don't plastics degrade? Plastics tend to last a long time. Most plastics, some degrade very quickly, but most plastics, they're going to stay in a waste dump for years and years and years. The question is, why don't they degrade? Is it because the molecules are too big or because the molecules are too strong? What is actually preventing them from degrading? Too strong or too big? Spend your standard internet units now. Last prediction of the night. Throw your guesses in the chat.
Oof.
Click on that purple bar and make your bets. You can either do 10 points or any. Wow, I have no earthly idea. Throw your guess in there. Use 10 standard internet units.
Ken, you're going to have to go back and watch that last couple seconds in the game on rewind. I blew someone up. They flew in the air, and as I was walking away, they landed on the landmine that I was trying to walk away from.
Oh, man. Somebody should have clipped that. We haven't clipped anything tonight. We probably should have. All right. 1 minute left. Why don't plastics degrade? Is it because the molecules are too big or because the molecules are too strong? And those are two very, very different things. And so, yeah,
Oh, no.
why do we have problems with polymers? Why do we have waste dumps full of polymers that aren't degrading? Is it because the molecules are too big or because the molecules are too strong? Again, if you want free internet points, click follow. If you're already following, congratulations, you're acquiring points as watching the stream. You could spend them on things like unlocking emotes or requesting a factoid, highlighting a message, or making us take a drink, which everyone wins in that particular case.
There we go.
Oh, look at that, the Ken Whitehair emote. My wife got a kick out of that one. Let me see that, Justin.
Dude, these dogs are unbelievably annoying.
shout
They
out-
get on both sides, and you can't shoot them in either direction.
Rockets. Just shoot rockets.
Okay.
Yep. Just shoot. Oh, you shot down the helicopter. Nice. That was beautiful. All right, so Justin, why don't plastics degrade? Is it because the molecules are too big or the molecules are too strong?
Yeah, in almost all cases, it's the size of the molecules that are the problem. The molecules are too big.
So explain that. That's kind of counterintuitive. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're holding together a long time, and it's not because they're strong.
Yeah, so, I mean, so for example, polyethylene, again, is not too far chemically different than octane, right? Or a fatty acid, right? Like an oleic acid or something like that. So obviously nature has a way of handling small molecules that are basically just hydrocarbon. In fact, I've heard a rumor, and I can't be completely verified on this, but I've heard it.
Car.
Oh no, not the car. Here, hold on.
the car.
Take
Take
the
the car.
helicopter too. Oh, it went higher that time.
Nice.
There we go. Mass
Worth it.
destruction.
Worth it. Sorry.
So I've heard that. What is that all about, man? Come
Somebody
on.
clip that one. Benucci did the same thing. Just perfect. That merits a page.
I've heard that in the ocean where like there's natural oil that seeps out of like volcanic areas, that there's a bacteria there that just lives off of it, chews up the like the high hydrocarbon rich sort of food source that's there, chews it up and spits it out, oxidizes it, whatever, falls in the ocean, becomes like processed. But I'm pretty sure that polyethylene doesn't come out of the lava, come out of the lava seeps. That it's probably smaller molecules. And so really it's about the enzymes needing to sort of get their mouth, in lack of a better way of saying it, the enzymes need to get their mouth around it and be able to chew it up. It's trying to, like eating a quadruple burger or whatever. Yeah, die.
And you got to give it to the destruction in this game. Like, it makes you feel like you're really causing a lot of violence. Press backwards. There you go.
That was a photo op. What am I supposed to do there? There's like, even in Battletoads, there's a little indicator like on the right side of the screen where the thing's gonna pop up.
Oh, you're making the mistake that assuming this is as good of a game as Battletoads. That was amazing. Man. Yeah, very counterintuitive, and the votes actually show that. So it was most people voting for molecules are too strong and not molecules are too big. And that's, I mean, that's an interesting, that goes back to thermodynamics, right? A carbon-carbon bond is the same strength almost across the board, right?
Yeah.
I mean, depending on whether it's single, double, or triple, but if you put enough of those carbon bonds together, you have a diamond, right? It's comparing octane to a diamond, very different strengths, and it has to do with how big the molecules are, not how strong those bonds are. So Hamsterlicious reframed that. I've never thought of that. Nature hasn't evolved teeth big enough to chew something up. It's essentially eternal as a solid carbon structure. Yeah. I mean, short of like natural thermal decomposition or heating over time. Yeah.
Yep. And a lot of people have thought that a really good idea would be, because polyethylene is a great material.
Just keep going right. Just,
yeah.
You know how long this walk is. Just rockets. Go right. Just burn these poor homeless people that are involved in the drug.
So a great idea is to just put very intermediate weak spots in a polymer chain that's made mostly of something like hydrocarbons. So you have a lot of the properties that I think render it the way it is, that we understand really well because of hydrocarbon polymers, but you also have these sort of weak links in the chain is the best way to look at all these dumpsters. Dumpster fire.
But you get to blow them up on this. Nice.
I think you just get to relocate
them. That's true. They just bounce around.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Don't die.
So I missed a question here. Reese's Pieces wants to know, is there any wacky conspiracy theories or flat earthers of your area study? I mean, there's the anti-plastic crowd, right? That's a...
Yeah, like the whole all plastics are bad type of mentality is kind of hugely annoying. I get it. I mean, there's certainly some reasons to be upset with plastics, particularly at the rate that we use them versus the rate that they decompose. Again, I think it's more than just a plastics problem. That's a societal problem that needs to be. We need to start doing a better job of just using in less, right? So that's kind of one area that's just sort of hard to chew on sometimes in the field. But I also. It directly reflects, I think, a lot of the time, some of the documentaries that I watch and some of the things. I mean, it's very easy to focus on a lot of the negative things, but I think if you looked at other things like the amount of infections at a hospital, or like the average life expectancy of a premature baby that's born and then held in one of those, extremely well-controlled temperature environments that are made of mostly plastic and plastic tubing and sterilized plastic everything, those have been extremely valuable for healthcare. Think about the amount of weight, the difference in the amount of weight between a plastic bottle and a glass bottle, like the Corona bottle versus like a Aquafina bottle. There's a lot of weight difference. So if you want to transport clean water to an area that's been affected by hurricanes or other problems in a way that you're going to burn less fuel and be more efficient, yes, I see. The plastic is going to be very useful, right? Just some examples like that. So there is definitely some problems, and I'm not saying that at all, but there's also some counter positives that largely I think some people aren't willing to even hear or accept. They've already made up their mind that they hate plastics and everything is bad about them. So. This is an interesting area. Are these hippies or mercenaries? I'm trying.
Can't they be both?
Hipsonaries.
Okay, going left.
This is that area with those guys. Now
a big spooky skeleton. Microbes evolve fast, though. there are fungi that can digest polyurethane and some bacteria.
Yes.
PET. Yeah.
That's right.
That's crazy. It's evolution, right?
That is right. And I've always heard that said, I want to find that article and read it, and then before I ever got a chance to, forgot about it. But yes, I've heard about this fungi, plastic eating fungi.
Oh, nice. Green card.
Yeah, right away. Right away.
Ooh. I mean, that is crazy. It only took like 20 years or something. It was a relatively small interval for biology to find a way to chew through plastics that never existed in nature.
It's a food source,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Nature finds a way.
So here's the catch, right? Can we engineer a microbial or a fungus or something, just a slightly genetically modified version that just,
There you go. Now you're tripping.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Shoot the rockets.
Groovy. Ooh, makes it hard because it freezes you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep. Just hammer the rockets.
So imagine that, right? Imagine that we genetically modify or engineer some sort of like fungus that we could grow really accurately, really well. Man, these guys are brutal with the pausing. Put them in a farm. Send your plastic to this farm. They eat the plastic. It'd be really important what the byproduct is that it produced, right?
Ethanol.
Yeah, if it produced ethanol, great.
Produce vodka.
If it produced... Yeah. Vodka.
Like plastic to vodka. You'd have a niche audience there for sure. Yep, flu mutates fast, yeah. Oh, that's crazy. I drink it, absolutely. Ninja Physics, I thought those were decorative trees, but no, they were ganja. They were wood. Absolutely.
That's cool. That's like explosion through the door.
So a big spooky skeleton read an article about a team that modified the enzyme that does the PETase, the polyethylene decomposition. They made it 10 times more efficient. I mean, this is one of those like gray goose scenarios too. You don't want them to be too good at it, otherwise it starts chewing through everything. That's right, eats through.
Is that eating through the floor? Oh my god!
Yeah, exactly.
It's like the alien spit or whatever. It's like in Aliens.
Could it be possible to induce the waste product of car engine used to have the waste product be oxygen and hydrogen? Yes. Is that possible? You can go the other way. You can take hydrogen and oxygen and make water. And there are hydrogen-powered cars that do that. I don't think you can have the waste product be oxygen and hydrogen. Just because those are the higher energy species, typically. But that's interesting. Could you go to... I don't know. You have the cards, so you can do those right away. But yeah, this is the exact same game, just higher graphics and more explosions.
Just run to the right.
Exactly.
Shoot rockets. Having unlimited rockets is certainly an improvement.
Yeah, there was no infinite rockets as far as I know for the NES, but I'll check. All right, last plug of the night. Again, if you guys are joining us for Ask a Scientist Gaming, click the follow button, but also follow our Discord, which is created and it's about 2 days old. But yeah, it's an opportunity to share your... introduce yourself, share your love of science, post things to science, post things about gaming, post memes, whatever you want, suggestions for the channel. You can post questions for future guests. The schedule is up, so yeah, join us at Discord, and yeah, we'll slowly build a community, which has been awesome. We really appreciate you guys showing up to Ask a Scientist Gaming. Just rockets. Just rockets.
I really hate those dogs.
So I actually played this last night. And at some point, it just gets so, like... You can handle, like, maybe 10 of these hits before you die, and you have 2 lives to beat this game. This is just like a quarter eater of a game.
Yeah.
Yeah, some European countries have full bus lines that completely run on hydrogen and produces water as the byproduct. Yeah. Denmark, it's huge too, I think. Oh, you got the wheelchair guy right away.
Yeah, get out of here. His worming is a lot more hilarious than high graphics.
Yeah. I like his... Wow, you are wrecking him. Well done. So I'm not going to lie. Mr. Big might be a more frustrating boss in this version than the other one. Heads up. But you have triggers and analog sticks, so it might be easier. Oh, wrecked. That was sniped. Well done, sir.
That felt a lot better.
Yeah, we need some kind of good game emote related to NARC.
I think games like this is kind of like once you go through the game once, then you're going to be a lot better the next time.
Ooh, I know we're moving towards rechargeable batteries, but I think we should still continue to innovate gas engines to produce less harmful byproducts. Man, I don't know. The car engine is pretty optimized. I mean, it's a cost benefit. There you go, Mr. Big.
I forgot what jump was for a second. He looks really ugly.
No, this is a next level.
I want to run away from him. He's a lot faster in this one too. Look, you could run away from him.
I think you can shoot rockets and push him back. High-res chins. You can see all 72. Oh, look at that sniped. Right in the eyes. Well done. But yeah, I think gas engines are pretty well optimized. Like you can machine them better so there's less like oxygen leakage and stuff like that, but then the cost becomes so large that it's just not cost effective for a family car to be that optimized.
Oh, look how his face
So
turns
I
when you
don't know
move
how
down.
much-
Watch this. Watch this. In your face. Your face. Wow, he takes a lot more hits in this one too.
Yeah, the FSU school route buses, they're electric. I don't know if they're hybrid or 100% electric. Any idea? Oh,
I
there you
do
go.
know that they make very little noise.
So now it's bullets.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So you got to hit them kind of up on the spine.
Whoa, he looks a lot cooler in
There you
this.
go. Nice.
Oh, just need to get away from him really fast. Oh, he's still got the tongues? It's kind of weird. Wow. Okay. I'm not going to outrun him.
Wow. Was that a rocket that hit him? Oh, you are wrecking this guy. Are you both FSU professors? Yes, we're both professors in the Department of Chemistry. Well done, sir. Gold card. Here's my favorite part of this. If you run into the base, it still hurts
Oh,
you.
there's a fly. Did you see that fly?
Oh yeah, the drug bugs. Yes, we are both professors at FSU. In fact, almost every guest we have on the channel is from FSU because now we're doing them in person. Occasionally we'll do remote, but it's going to be FSU professors. So yeah, check out the schedule. Join us on Discord. You can see it, or check the schedule on Ask a Scientist.
Give me my money.
Drug bugs. That's a good emote. I earned a BS in social science.
Does it matter if you collect all this gold?
I see. Coming back to finish your BS. Makes sense. It adds to your points. So this one does not double your score, so sorry.
Ruin that opportunity.
Yeah, and thanks for stopping by. It's a pleasure. As usual, read the chapter, send me revisions, and you'll get your free copy of the book. Man, you earned it tonight.
Highest score imaginable. That's what I'm waiting for it to say.
How many quarters do you think it would have taken to do that?
Oh, just the dogs alone would have been in like $2,000.
So what I learned is that, so you can do infinite lives in this, and if you die, you just respawn, except for at Mr. Big. If you die, it starts the battle over.
Ouch.
So you have to completely beat him without dying.
Yeah, that would be impossible.
That game is crazy. All right, well, Justin, congratulations. You have beat NARC and the arcade version of NARC.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good here.
And solid game of Paperboy, bases loaded.
I'm still entering ass.
I mean, we'll see. I don't think it... 25,000.
It's 2.585 million. Does it save people's scores?
No. I mean, I'm sure I could
Look at that
state
one.
it or something.
Ow.
All right, so twice tonight we have won the war on drugs. Congratulations, everyone, for joining us. It's a pleasure. It's 11:07. It is time for us to call it a night because we're old and
Yeah.
we can't play video games that long anymore.
This is way past my bedtime.
Yes.
Thank you, Ken. Thanks, everyone.
If anyone has any ideas of people we should raid, put them in chat right now and then stick around. Just typically we go after science and technology or education related streams, but if you have anyone you want to suggest, throw those in chat. But other than that, yeah, always a pleasure. Again, join us on the Discord. Check out the schedule. In 2 weeks, we'll have physicist Hanwei Gao. He's a condensed matter physicist that cares a lot about light matter interactions, works in similar domains as me. So yeah, join us in 2 weeks for that, and you can throw your questions in the Discord if you have those. But yeah, it's a pleasure. You guys are swinging by, and yeah, we always enjoy Ask a Scientist stream. It's always a pleasure for us.
Yeah.
Justin, any parting words for the audience?
Thank you. See you later. Yeah.
Noble Tofu is streaming. We should raid Noble Tofu. All right, we'll do that. All right, we're gonna go to the offline screen again. Thank you, everyone. It's always a pleasure. Join us in 2 weeks for our next stream with Hanwei Gao, physicist, condensed matter physics, and light matter interactions. So thanks again for coming by.